went to a boat company in South Carolina. The boat, I said, how is it? He said, it's a problem, sir. They want us to make all electric boats. So I said, let me ask you a question. And he said, nobody ever asked this question. And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery and the battery's now underwater and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. I watched some guys justifying it today. Well, they weren't really that angry. They bit off the young lady's leg because of the fact that they were not hungry, but they misunderstood who she was. These people are crazy. He said there's no problem with sharks. They just didn't really understand a young woman swimming now really got decimated, and other people too, a lot of shark attacks. So I said, so there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards, or here. Do I get electrocuted? If the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking. Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, you know, nobody's ever asked me that question. I said, I think it's a good question. I think there's a lot of electric current coming through that water. But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark.
Coming from a galaxy near you. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
How about I add everybody to the stage? Smooth sailing.
It's happening.
It's here. It's
also
in the
we are
midst.
not Greg. Surprise. So sorry.
It takes two of us to add up to Greg. That is the truth. It's soon to be three of us. There's going to be three of us, and it takes three of us.
So everybody, welcome to Brothers and Booze, our Chase the Chaos takeover. So we got Lauren, of course, and we got Ariana here to talk about everything. So thank you for joining us so we can talk about all this fun stuff. So any comments about our girl Sarah Cooper coming back and doing her Trump impressions?
I laughed, but I was also sad because it's really hard to realize that she's quoting and making fun of someone who's running for the United States president. It's both. It's like the best example of funny and depressing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, because she was doing that. Oh my God, it's so long ago now. But it's like funny, and then also like, oh God, it's deeply. I haven't had to listen to him in a long time, and I try to avoid that, and it like hurts my soul to have to like try to follow him finishing a sentence. I know I have a hard time doing that sometimes, but it's a different, same but different vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, it was like I was over here, I had muted my mic and I'm sitting there giggling, but then every time I would giggle, like at the back end of that giggle would be like it was like painful. She does a good job, but
she does such a great job, but it's so disappointing.
Yeah. So let's start with what are you drinking? Ari, why don't we start with you? What do you have in your glass?
My answer to this is never interesting ever. I'm drinking herbal water. It is infused with skullcap, which is I'm gonna geek out on herbs for a little bit here for anybody interested. It is an herb that is regularly used for muscle spasms and anxiety, mainly anxiety. And as somebody who deals with anxiety, I'm using it. It's actually a great replacement for Xanax. It actually goes after the same GABA receptors as Xanax. So if you don't respond well to that, maybe try to see if you could find some skullcap and then tincture it. And if you ever want to know how that works, hit me up. I'm happy to teach you how to do it. It's very, very simple.
Yeah, but JHG said here, no drink shaming. We don't drink. You drink what you like, and we're all good with that.
Good, because what years?
All right, Manny. And poor Manny has COVID, he said. So he just.
No. Well, thanks for joining us. Sorry you're trapped.
Yeah.
I assume. I don't know. I don't know what you do with your life.
And he's choosing to watch us, which is really kind of you. So
Yeah,
thank
it's
you for
very
that.
nice of you. Thank you, Manny. How about you, Lauren? What are you drinking tonight? What do you have?
I am drinking a beverage that was sent to me by you, sir. It is, I was like, I'm going to say it wrong. Oh, God,
Oh,
I got to read back.
cute.
Stoneyard Brewing Co. It's a chocolate after midnight, little like
Turn the can around to the other
gremlin
side
juice.
too.
Oh, so we got the cute little gremlin guy.
Oh, that's a mean gremlin guy.
Well, okay.
Oh, no, it's a
this
cute.
one's,
It's a cute
this one's a
one.
little meaner.
That's
This
the
one's
mean
meaner.
guy. That's the mean guy.
This one's like, I don't know, grease lightning hoodlum. I
I
don't
was
know.
about to say, you could tell because he's wearing the leather jacket. Leather
Yeah,
jacket.
the leather means like a badass, right? But this one's just like, look how happy this guy looks.
Yeah,
And
he's
it's like
cute.
badass guy. And
Wow.
it's chocolate porter, and I poured it already because I couldn't wait, and it's delicious.
But you are welcome. So I'm going to start with something pretty light from our folks that we like over in Allagash up in Maine. This is a Clementine Kolsch.
Ooh.
So 4.2%, so pretty late to start the show. But, I saw that and that sounded good. Kolsch is one of those things like you can't really, they're throwing Clementine in it to kind of add some citrus to it. But Kolsch is kind of a style that you make and it either works or it really fucking doesn't. So it's going to be, Allagash generally doesn't miss too much with their stuff. They make a lot of really great beer. So we're going to see how that turns out. So there's my glass looking the part with the Kolsch.
I always love the foam commitment from Doug.
Ooh, the Clementine's really nice in that. That's
Okay.
like if it's hot out, this is a great beer because it's got that citrusy stuff with a very light beer. So definitely a super good drinker, especially if you happen to be in some country in Central America. That may be really good.
What?
Your water. He's coming for your herbal tea waters.
Listen. I also just realized I completely zoned out, and then I heard Central America, and I was like,
wait,
what?
that's me.
Shit, was somebody talking to me? Crap! Where was I?
Yeah. Katie is a friend of mine, lives near me. She likes
Katie.
Stoneyard too. No, Katie's good people.
Katie.
Other people like the can, so that's cool.
It is very. I like the dual facing like gotcha. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and doing the cool thing with it, the gremlins on each side is really nifty.
Is that one? The one is pretty cute. I can't.
It's really cute, actually. Yeah. That was my first thought. So like, oh.
And then you see the other side, it's like John Travolta as a gremlin, and the other side.
Yeah. It's like the John Travolta and like John Travolta Muppet Babies version.
Oh yeah, but that's usually Kermit, right? Kermit's usually John Travolta in this situation. Yeah,
probably.
I don't know. I'm going to pretend I'm going to pretend I don't actually know the answer to that because that's otherwise we start asking questions.
Would that make Miss Piggy Sandy or Rizzo?
I have kids. Also, blame the kids.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, and I absolutely hate Grease. That is one of my least favorite movies of all time. I fucking hate that movie.
Actually,
I hate the music. It's a music I hate.
It's like, let's put it this way. I feel that the music is good. I actually, funny story, when I was 13, tried out for a place in like my local theater's production of Grease. Mm-hmm. And so I had to learn a lot of the music, and the music is great. It's a lot of fun, especially from a vocalist standpoint, really fun. The story and the message, I have questions. I'm not entirely certain why we're still good with the story. Because it's basically like, hey, if you stick to your guns and you act like yourself, that dude's not going to like you. So change everything. This is kind of like, huh? What? Why are we a fan?
Wait. Is this a thing?
What? Are they maybe there's like
Grease?
What?
In Muppet Baby Grease.
I don't think there's the Muppet Baby Grease, but if Samuel L. Jackson was in Grease, I'm bored.
Don't you remember when he tells Kermit
we need more information.
Hold on, I am.
Sorry. Okay, all right. Thank you, Daniel.
I was Googling.
I was like, damn it.
You gotta get these like motherfucking greasers.
These motherfucking greasers in this motherfucking high school. Because Samuel Jackson's been 50 for like the last like 80 years. So he's allowed to swear in Grease. He was allowed.
Yeah. Manny's is Olivia Newton-John deep down inside. So, yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be like a Get Physical reference or something coming soon.
My brain's not able to think of it. I'm sure someone else will.
It's okay. He'll go there for us.
It's all good. We have people who are good at that stuff that will be talking about it. So. All right. So the purpose of us getting together here was so that we could talk about Chase the Chaos. So why don't we start with you? All right, you're the person.
Who?
Person.
I'm
this person.
Yeah, I'm on the page.
I did that.
It's
Sorry.
I was about to say, I am not so narcissistic as to put myself in the
I made the website. And I was
that
like,
was Lauren. She put the website together. I swear I was like,
sure.
You know what this website needs is more me. This is what it needs is more me.
Yeah, I did that. I'm sorry, not really, but a little bit. I didn't ask.
She did. She didn't. When she showed me the website for the first time and we pulled it up, I was like, oh, it's me, front and center. But that's cool. It's fine. I did start it. And it all kind of comes back full circle because I met Lauren for the first time on the show. So it makes sense that we are here to talk about this. And Lauren knows that I have a tendency to gush about her, and she's just gonna have to suck it up and deal with it right now. with that, absolutely.
She's getting me back for putting her on the website. So
I am.
I'll take it.
This is my gift to her. Anyway, my revenge. But I remember meeting Lauren for the first time on the show. I want to say, Doug, it might have been the second time I was on it.
I think that's right.
And you and Greg had Lauren on as like another person to host. And I remember that Lauren and I didn't even really talk much one-on-one, but I remember being like, I really like her. I want
As
to
do.
We're going to work together at some point. I don't know on what. And if you could ask my husband, he will attest to the fact that I do not, this is going to sound horrible, I don't like people right off the bat. That's just not how this works, okay? I'm cool with most people, but I am not a person who's like, we need to be friends after I've talked to you like for 5 seconds. That's just not how this works. So, but I wasn't weird about it. I kept it to myself. And then
that is true. I had no idea.
I told you only after we were already working together, so that you had no choice. You see how I did that. But last year, Greg 2.0.
That's Greg too. He doesn't like people off the bat either. He's said that multiple times in the show, including me, by the way.
Well, which is probably why he and I get along so well, because we both are just like, I don't like people either, so therefore we're good. So last year, I realized that there is like an ADHD conference every year, but there's kind of a lack of space for neurodivergent. It started out specifically for neurodivergent women because there's not a lot of space for us. And because we deal with, his ears are burning. We deal with a lot of things that, let's face it, neurodivergent dudes don't. Everything from how often our health is looked at by the medical community, which is not very much, spoiler alert, to just feeling really guilty every time that we realize that we can't focus just on one thing. There's kind of this attitude, I think, towards a lot of neurodivergent people, but neurodivergent women in general, that we are supposed to, pick being homemakers or mothers, or we're supposed to pick one job track. And the moment that we decide that we want to do anything outside of that, we are made to feel very ashamed of that. And there's a lot about being productive, but also being able to put forth a lot of emotional labor and things like that. So I was just like, we need a place to be able to talk not only to one another about these things, but also to be able to kind of celebrate the fact that our brains are chaotic rather than consistently trying to figure out how to streamline them or make them smaller, as it were. Because I went through it myself for a while. I was very afraid of falling into the so-called shiny object syndrome idea. And it was a friend of mine who actually spoke last year, Mandy. She's incredible, by the way. Her name on Instagram is Healing for Hot Messes. Totally suggest her if you're looking for someone who is both witchy and foul-mouthed and probably somewhat feral, but she'd be okay with me calling her that. But she basically taught me about how shiny object syndrome is bullshit. It's a way to kind of keep you from feeling too afraid or feeling too confident about being multiple things at once, or letting your mind expand to these different, parts of yourself. So basically, I put this thing together last year, and it was a itty bitty baby event, and nobody knew what it was. And so a lot of my speakers were friends. The only person who decided that they were going to apply, or one of the few people who decided that they were going to apply who I did not know, was Lauren. And I knew Lauren immediately by name. And Lauren's topic was so on point. I've told her this story like 8 times. She's like, I'm so fucking sick of this story. Too bad. Her application and her topic was so on point with what I was trying to talk about that my husband and I share an office. And as soon as I read what it was about, I was like, yes, really loud. And I scared the shit out of my husband. And he was like, what? And I was like, no, it's a good thing. I'm really glad. So Lauren was like an immediate, like into the yes pile, super excited. And I remember as we were working together last year, I remember thinking like, I have to try to see if she wants to work with me next year. And so after that, I asked her. She said yes. I want to say I'm very proud of her because she didn't just say yes. She was like, I have to be reasonable, and I'm trying to think about the time that I actually have available to me. But I think with all the things that I have available to me, yes. And she's been here all year. We've worked together. She built our lovely website. She has been just like a great person to bounce ideas off of. And now here we are. We have tried to change the messaging a little bit just because we have people in our audience. I did not think about this last year, but we have people in our audience who may not necessarily identify as women, or people who are allies of women who want to be there and who may feel like they might not be welcome. And they are. Everybody is welcome. All neurodivergent adults are welcome. It's just that we wanted to make sure that if there were neurodivergent women who were looking for a place, that they know that they have a place here. And I agree, Lauren is a rock star. And I'm trying to think of what else to say. So even though she's already probably like super awkward right now, I'm going to make Lauren say something. Lauren, say something about the event. I'm not doing all of the talking.
It's fair. Well, thanks, friends, for nice words. I'm practicing dealing with that. Yeah, I did apply, and again, so many things that Ariana kept secret that I didn't know until it was far past. And she's like, by the way, I've been manifesting this for a year and a half. It's been great, and it's gonna be great. I think that it's interesting to me too, because so many adults, like women especially, but not only, the idea of being neurodivergent is not new, but it's like a resurgence because like back in the day it was like ADD, ADHD, which is just like too much energy. But then it's so many other things that people didn't realize were also being neurodivergent or ADHD or whatever at the time, that it's a lot of people are getting late diagnosed later in life and being like, oh my gosh, this explains so much. And so it's really for anyone who even is like not necessarily diagnosed, but like maybe all of these memes really speak to me. Or like I am not a diagnosed neurodivergent person in any ways, but Ariana and some of my friends like Maddie, who may be joining us shortly here actually, tell me, they're like, are you sure you're not neurodivergent? You got some spicy, zesty moments, or like that feels very on point. So it's also like not a yes, no. It's like a whole spectrum of like
big time.
What sort of symptoms do you have, and where do you lie, and how does your brain work? So anybody that any of this speaks to or if it's like, even if it's, I would say even like friends, family, otherwise, that you're like, I don't know how to support them, and you want to be curious and like learn more in a space that's like very community oriented and empowering versus like lecture-y. This is cool, and it's like a fun space because it's not just, I don't know what we're like, not like a lot of stuff is like academic versus like learning about it for yourself. So this has been very cool. Side tangent. Maddie and I, it's related. I was like, Maddie, again, it's kind of like I don't want to say hot topic, but like Maddie and I were just actually in Chicago, which I got called out for not reaching out to some friends. Sorry, Victor and Joel and anyone else. We were just in Chicago because we were speaking at a national HR conference, and we were doing a session on All Brains Welcome Neurodivergence in the Workplace. And it's gotten very popular this year, not out of nowhere, but like we got accepted to a lot of conferences, which is kind of like cool for us, but also speaks to the fact that like this is a thing that people are interested in or want to know more about or don't know a lot about, or maybe think they know but want to learn more. So I'm so excited for this event to exist, and it's also like my vibe, which is like important but like fun and not so serious, because it doesn't have, like, we don't have to be bored when we learn about ourselves or develop new skills. But yeah, it is happening in, let's hit the logistics. This is my vibe. It is in September.
It's 83 days. It's September 20th and 21st. It's a Friday and a Saturday. It's completely digital. So if you have access to a computer, you can come. Tickets will be going on sale very soon. They go on sale a little bit earlier for people on our newsletter list and in our Facebook group. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
In case you want to join.
Yeah. We're in there, and I do a lot of talking. So there's plenty of memes and shit to go around in there. Yeah, we're going to be having a lot of different talks this year. Like last year was cool, don't get me wrong, but I am incredibly proud of the things that we're talking about this year. We're talking about everything from the book publishing process from stem to stern. We're talking about premenstrual dysmorphic disorder or dysphoric disorder, which is a huge thing that actually affects a lot of people who are neurodivergent. We're talking about, we have 3 special workshops for everybody in our top tier this year. And those are going to be hands-on anywhere from 75 to 90 minutes, where we're going to be, learning how to befriend our inner critic, which is a really cool idea. And Lauren is actually going to be running 2 lunch networking sessions over the, you're like, oh wait, that is my job. Yeah, she's also running 2 networking sessions over the lunch hour over those 2 days as well, which I can honestly say will be fantastic because she's the perfect person to do it. Because if I was doing it, I'd be like, so
in the nicest way possible, like how Art's like, I don't usually like people. I'm like, I want to talk to everybody. Yes. Sometimes it's a problem.
That was not a question. It was never a question who was going to run that. Like as soon as we talked about it, I was like, so you'll be there. That's good to know. It's good to know that you'll be running the lunches. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So we've got a lot of really cool stuff happening this year. And those are all of our, in fact, one of those speakers is about to come on here. Maddie, she's on the far left, and Doug just left her in the dust, but she's on there. There she is.
Maddie, who some of you may know if you watch the stream from time to time.
She will be one of our speakers, and she's going to actually be doing one of those workshops I talked about. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. But we've got some really, really cool people on there. You can see that we have an empowerment photographer. She's going to be talking about some cool stuff. We've got a book coach. We've got a couple of therapists, but they're not talking about boring therapy stuff. I promise. I don't know who that person is. ADHD coach and founder of Chase the Chaos. She looks real shifty. I wouldn't trust her if I were you. But yeah, if you guys get a chance to go to our website, you'll see who all the speakers are.
Yeah. And the website is actually on the bottom scrolling down there. So if you want to check that out, that's where it is.
Yeah.
So check that out. Now, since we just kind of talked about her, we might as well bring her in. I would assume, right? Well, we just let her sit her. We can let her sit backstage the rest of the time.
Yeah, why not? She's cool back there.
Just judge us from the wings. Oh, look at her face.
Welcome, Maddie.
Oh yeah, that's right. She can hear us. Whoops. Hi.
I did
Welcome,
not
Maddie.
care for that. I did not care for that. Please don't remove me there.
All right, Maddie, welcome.
Welcome.
What are you drinking tonight? What do you have in your glass?
I don't have a glass.
What do you have in your
That's
bottle
okay.
or can?
Oh, you have some High
Ooh.
Noon.
Was it
Ooh,
called
I
passion
love
fruit?
passion fruit.
It's a great flavor, and it features my red
Lipstick.
Yeah.
Sounds
Feels on
delicious.
brand. Always bring in the makeup.
I always know which is mine.
This
Which
is true. I was like,
Fridge. It will never be mistaken.
True.
this is true.
All right,
I
well,
don't
welcome,
have
Maddie.
anything that's mine. My children eat all my stuff.
Well, parenthood.
You know, whatever. It's fine. I literally so the other day I made these cookies and they didn't even turn out well. They turned out terribly. And
Oh.
I was like, I have to eat them. I'm not going to waste them. But
Oh, I get it.
they were specifically for me because I have like a special kind of low histamine diet thing I have to eat. So I was like, I'm just going to eat them. They're just for me. My kids, there's coconut oil in them and they taste really strongly of coconut. My kids hate coconut and they're dry as shit. And yet my kids were still watching me the whole time. Can I have one? Can I have one? Mom, can I? No, you can't. Why? I just want to try it. Why? There's nothing. Nothing is mine. Nothing. I'm surprised that I'm still wearing this shirt and that there's not like another child like coming out of the back of my
Emerging.
shirt.
Like
Mom, can I
a
have your
gremlin?
shirt? Can I borrow your shirt? I need your shirt. Yeah. So I don't know what that's like, but I live vicariously through Maddie. Because
So, Maddie, can you talk a bit about what you're discussing at the summit? Just a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing a workshop called Play in the Gray, Joyful Practices for a Complicated Life. Basically, it's about how you can utilize play to help you cope with how messy life is. And like, I assume it's kind of pretty messy for everyone, but I feel like we are, as a nation, in our messy era, one of many very messy eras of our time. And so I do feel like there's a lot of stress and anxiety around how we are supposed to be thoughtful, but then also like preserving our peace. And how do we balance those things? And so what I'm talking about is sort of practices that you can engage in to help you cope with that and to push you outside of just a binary mindset. It's not, it doesn't have to be win or loss, good or bad, hero, villain. It's all just a lot more complicated than that. And sometimes it feels like it's very hard to hold all that complexity. And so this is sort of about helping people through that process using play because neurodivergent folks are chasing that dopamine. So you know that it needs to be engaging and fun and bright and joyful.
and even more than that, adults don't play anymore. Like we really we don't. We should, right? But like I can't remember where I read it, but they were talking about how when you're a little kid, you laugh something crazy. It's like hundreds of times a day. And by the time you're an adult, you're lucky to laugh like, I think it's like 30 times a month. And I was like, that's only one time a day. You're telling me we don't even laugh once a day? That's so sad. Like it was just so, but it's true. Like we kind of get the play knocked out of us. So I shouldn't say that we try to do this every year because this is the second year. So this is our top
every
So
year.
far, it's true.
So far it's true. Every year, we have tried to have something about humor or play or laughing through tough things because we aren't taught to do that anymore as adults. In fact, if you laugh when things are going wrong, generally people they think that you're having like a mental breakdown. So this is going to be, I think, a really, really important thing for people. And I mean, I'm sure that you guys have met Maddie and you know all of the things that she is capable of. But if you are not, you should go find out, because if there's anybody who should be teaching you how to do this, other than, I don't know, I was trying to think of somebody who's known for playing. Can't think of anything. Brain's dead. But Maddie is amazing to teach you this. So I think you should go check that stuff out and see what I mean.
I mean, okay.
I put
Also-
this card, but that's for
Wake me up.
Yeah. That's Manny, right? Manny, there's lots of different things for different people. It's totally fine.
All right. well,
yeah, playing
I'm gonna-
prison guard.
Or that.
Different.
Play, I guess.
I mean, it depends on how you're doing it. I guess because I mean, I've heard of people like angrily going at it, and that's not playing, right? Like that's with has no one else heard of this? So why does everyone
I think it's akin to like a hate fuck. Like, have you ever heard that?
But like for yourself?
For yourself?
Like, you know, they even use the term beating your meat, which is like super angry. Nobody thinks of happiness when they use those terms.
I was really trying to avoid that, but thank you for saying it. I didn't want to say it.
So now we're
now that we're here.
Now that we're here, you know,
What are we talking about again?
but this is like the neurodivergent special, right? We just go on all these side quests. It's awesome.
That's why just for those of you watching in the group chat, and we were all talking, everybody was like, what should we cover? What should we talk about? I was like, we can plan all we want. We're not going to stay on topic. It's not happening. So you guys, this is really cute. You guys, this is really cute. I love that you think that this is what's going to happen. Okay, cool.
It hit the highlights. I was like, don't forget to talk about the summit. That's the main one.
But you know what? You know what? You joke, but I could totally see me getting off and being like, fuck, did we ever talk about the summit? We talked about the Muppets the whole time. God damn it.
It's true.
I am not going to, for the record, post the one comment Manny said. Because I'm just not going to do it because
I see it.
It's in the side chat and you all can see it, but I'm not posting that.
I am a huge fan of being gentle with yourself. You go, man. I didn't mean it in that way.
Now we have to say it.
Well, not. It could have been an inside joke between me and Manny. Now you've just made it extra weird. Why not? By the way, the way he spells Manny is it's funny because I live in a Spanish-speaking country. For those of you guys who don't know, I live in Costa Rica. And seeing little Manny, I'm reading it as little Mani in my head, which is Spanish for peanut. So
maybe he's a little peanut.
So it's not helping my case because I'm like, oh, the little peanut gets no anger. Wait, this isn't any better. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome,
Doug, help save us.
Are you glad you joined right now, Maddie? Because this is like the opportune time for just.
Okay, I literally just found the comment section, so I'm just having a good time. So I'm just like surprised that I was a little late, but my first thought was like, wow, we got here quick. Look at that little journey we took to just like furious masturbating, I guess.
Welcome, everyone.
I've been here for like 6 minutes.
We're going to talk about a summit.
So,
it is early on the West Coast. It's there's so much sunlight.
Yep.
Oh no!
But I love it, and it's a little bit dangerous because it's quite early in the experience to be here already. There's so much further we could go, and I'm a little concerned.
All right, so we can't. The comments are not showing up there, but Victor Aragon jumped in and goes, "What the hell did I just walk into?"
Oh, Victor. Well,
I'm
you
so
know
sorry.
the usual, Victor. The usual. It's just a little earlier than usual.
It's my fault, man. I'm sorry. I show up and I ruin.
You create chaos.
That's why I made a song about it.
What did I say in the chat when you were like, "What should we talk about?" And I said, "Flaming Elmo chaos."
Yep. Chaos.
Let's be so for real.
I am
We're in it.
legitimately an agent of chaos, and that is why I made a summit so I could make myself feel better about it.
Like
This
look,
is-
a space for me.
No, you're like,
it wasn't forget the rest of you. I just really wanted to feel better about being so chaotic. So I was like, you all come in and talk for an hour about why it's okay for me to be me. And it just, other people, great that it works.
resonated.
I'm not
God.
sure how to corral us back into the right space, but
Okay, I will.
you got it, Ari.
I took us off the path. I will put us back
This
on.
is your responsibility.
you're the shepherd. Do it.
Oh, you're all fucked. We're gonna wind up in a. So, Lauren, I am going to ask you a question for once.
Okay. Oh, for what? That is a valid statement. I have a lot of questions normally. Go ahead.
So, you like I mentioned before, in case anybody's just joining us and they didn't hear, Lauren, you were actually a speaker at the event last year.
I was.
And when you heard about the event, why don't you share with people what drew you to it in the first place?
Okay. Ooh. In the neurospicy of whatever I am, my brain just went like 12 directions. I was like, rein it in.
I can't help you with that. I think that's obvious.
This is up to me. Okay, like what drew me to it? Well, I think I saw your posting of like, hey, call for speakers. And like I've applied to conferences and spoke at some places before. So I was like, oh, okay, like what's this one? And I will, in like a real like off the bat way, just the fact that it was called Chase the Chaos felt like it spoke to me so much because Maddie has done this. Many people feel like I do a lot of things at once, maybe too much, maybe too many things. So much so that previously Maddie had tagged me in a post that was like I'm not saying you're doing too much, but maybe you're doing too much and you need these. And it was like someone who made like no punch cards, but on like a Post-it where their group of friends like were like overwhelmed by doing too many things. So they made a little like support group card, like a Post-it. That was when they said no 10 times, the group would buy them ice cream. And she was like, I'm not saying you need this. Maybe you need this. And I was like, okay, I hear you. So I crafted business cards that, not business cards, like business size cards that were punch cards for myself that I found sponsors for. I had 4 different people. Maddie was one of them. And I had 3 other friends who would give me a little, I do a check mark when I said no to something that I wanted to say yes to get me to practice saying no. And when I got 10, I would get a prize. And I'm super extra. So I didn't let any of the no's cross over. So I had to say no to like 40 different things because there were 10 things on each thing.
That tracks.
Yeah. So like I'm a person who like, not just like, ooh, shiny, distracted necessarily, but like, ooh, I'm actually interested in that. I want to do it. I don't have time, but I want to say yes anyway, which was why like Ariana's thing earlier was like, I did a good job of being like, I might not have time. I think I have time. Let me assess. It's been a practice. But remembering where I came from, the Chase the Chaos, I'm a person of like wanting to do many things. And I feel like so many people like would see my digital calendar and be like, oh my God, what is happening? There's too many colors and things blocked off and stuff is overlapped. And I was like, no, like it's not what you think. And it's fine. And so the idea that it was about chasing chaos, okay. Oh, I mean, thank you. And also like, that's a real low bar. I feel like it spoke to me more than like everyone was like, maybe you need to do less. I was like, I mean, maybe you need to leave me alone. So I just like felt like someone who was like, no, like this is fine, but how do you deal?
Mm-hmm.
And so like it worked out because the talk that I did last year and what I applied with, which didn't exist, I was just like, I just did this thing and I have this idea, but it's not a presentation yet. I was doing a lot of things and feeling a little chaotic because I didn't know how to manage in this grown-up world as I was doing. And I made up the grown-up school of your dreams. And I made up an imaginary school for myself, by myself, to do by myself. And I made like a program schedule and I put like bells on my phone. And it was also just like how do I organize, do all the things that I want, but like I can find ways to do it in a hopefully joyful, playful way, not in a like fit into this box kind of way. So that was my really long-winded answer version. Maybe if I answered it.
If you had given me one sentence, I would have been like, oh God, she's sick. Someone go check. I'll get a wellness check on Lauren. She doesn't do like, no, I was expecting that.
That's
Dude,
fair. That is the
fine.
thing. Like, you know that. Okay, here's the side tangent. Like the thing where it's just like, how would you communicate, or like if you got kidnapped and you had to like post something on social media so that like nobody worried about you, but would communicate something that looked normal but would worry people.
Mhm.
I would post something that would be like 3 words.
Oh, I
People would
know.
be like, oh my God, what's wrong?
Yeah, I would know immediately. I'd be like, somebody go check on
Something's
her.
wrong.
Something's not good.
Like, many
It's not
words.
happening.
I
Yeah,
try to
no.
be focused, and I try
Well,
to finish sentences.
actually, first, because I am somewhat neurotic, I would be like, oh God, she hates me. That would be my first thought. I'd be like,
Oh,
we're not
well,
friends anymore. That's what happened.
Is-
Then I'd be
is
like,
Mr. Brain-
wait, no, that can't be because I'm goddamn delightful. She must have been. She must have been kidnapped. So it would be there. It just wouldn't be the first thought I'd have, but it would be.
That's okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's like quickly thereafter.
It would be quickly thereafter. It'd be fine. You would still be saved. There would just be that moment where I'd be like, huh. Oh, so that was my end scene.
It was a great reenactment dramatization.
Thank you.
So yeah, Chase the Chaos just feels like something rather than be like hello again. Sorry we didn't call you in Chicago, my bad. So I feel like Chase the Chaos, just as like the name being, it's like setting a tone versus like ADHD Summit. Like that's like a real, it's correct, but also like so dry.
It
And
really,
like
I mean,
what's
yeah.
the perspective or tone or like vibe? And I was like, ooh, this seems fun or like interesting or like a different way of like thinking about all of these things. So that's why I applied, and now I'm in it.
And now it's history. History has been made. No, but I mean, like, that brings up a very good point. And I would love to say that I thought that deeply into the name. And I'm about to out myself here, but I didn't.
How did you name it?
So I knew what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to get across to people that it was cool to do multiple things at one time, and that some of us thrive by doing multiple things at one time. It mentioned on the website there, in case you guys haven't seen it, but I work with people with ADHD a lot, even though that's actually about to change. I haven't said that like out loud yet, so that's the first time. You guys should feel special. But I work with people with ADHD a lot, and one thing that a lot of us kind of get concerned about is like, I like to have noise while I write. And sometimes while I'm working, except for Doug, we don't count Doug.
All of us are like, oh yes,
I am
absolutely
also
not.
not neurodivergent.
So everybody just ignore Doug.
Yes.
As per
Or
usual.
Doug can listen and learn about others. He's done. You're not allowed. He'll come back later.
So dramatic. God damn it. But for all of us, for most of us, except for maybe Doug, who are in this call, we can kind of understand, like, you need noise while you write, right? Or while you're working, you'll suddenly realize that your brain will think of you writing about something, and suddenly your brain's like, I wonder what this is. And then you have to go check something. And then suddenly you'll come back around to the thing that you were doing initially. It's kind of like this conversation, except on the internet. And we're often told that that's not the way we're supposed to be, that we're supposed to try to figure out how to streamline our thoughts, how to focus, how to this, how to that. But for some of us, that is how we focus. For some of us, we have to have like episodes of Scrubs on in the background where we write, because that's what we need to be able to exercise multiple parts of our brain at once. And I wanted to get that across. And so actually, originally, because I was hoping to reach out to people, and the word I was constantly using was multi-passionate. So originally, because I am also a sci-fi nerd and I really love the movie The Fifth Element, I was going to call it Multipass. And
That is my favorite action movie.
it is such a great
That is
favorite.
It is.
I make everyone watch it on my birthday. that
What's
or
the
a Nick
movie?
Cage vessel like
The
Connie.
Fifth Element. The Fifth Element.
What's a movie?
The Fifth Element.
Bruce
Oh,
Willis.
okay. Sorry, I was typing something. and
Maddie
like-
was about to start screaming at you. Did you hear that? She came from back
Okay,
here.
Maddie's birthday is coming up
Yes!
soon, Doug. You're gonna have to watch The Fifth Element on Maddie's birthday, which is soon.
I can do that. I like the Fifth Element. I'll be happy to
It's
watch
so
it.
good. It's so good.
I love that movie.
Almost
I love it.
Chris Tucker's fucking few minutes in that movie just floor me every fucking
Oh my
time.
god, unbelievable! Yeah, I can. Don't even get me started. And then like the Divas song gives me goosebumps every time.
Flava Laguna.
Yes,
For her. I
Yes.
would die for her.
yes, it is. It's amazing. I'm not even gonna lie. When I hear it in the movie, I know that they purposely made it so that it would be pretty impossible for most vocalists to do. Don't
Perfect.
care. Sing along with it anyway.
100%,
And the parts
totally
that are like
agree.
synth and it sounds like shit, don't care. Still sing it. Doesn't matter. But yeah, so thank you for that, Doug, because it reminded me of what I was saying. So yeah, I almost named it because
Thank you
of
to the
that.
chat.
Yeah, thank you. I almost named it multipass for that very reason.
Perfect.
And but as I started doing it, I was like, I don't know that people are going to know what I mean by multi-passionate. And I was like, I want to get across what I'm trying to say. And I didn't want to have to explain what I meant by multi-passionate. And so one thing that became horribly clear is that a lot of people who are neurodivergent are already multi-passionate anyway. A lot of us kind of love negative. I'm a meat popsicle. I love it. Smoke you. Sorry.
Wow, that is-
I couldn't stop it. I couldn't stop it. It was in the same scene. All right, that's enough. Sorry. But point being, I can talk.
Wins right now, just no context.
It's from the movie. I can do
I
movie quotes all day
know.
long. You don't understand.
Oh,
Anyway,
we've learned.
Oh, I have something about that, but we'll get to that later. About
I'm
movies.
never gonna
Maybe,
finish
maybe.
this. I'm never gonna
Maybe.
finish the story, you guys. It's never gonna.
You can do it. I have faith in you.
I
Multipass,
don't
not a
know.
multi-pass.
I don't know. Maddie, help.
People,
You are looking in the wrong place, babe. That is not.
You were like, I am not the one to come to about
No. I'm here to do just Fifth Element for the rest of the night.
the rest of the. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I felt like what I wanted to do is I wanted to get across because I realized that most of the people who are neurodivergent are multi-passionate anyway. So I felt like if I just go after neurodivergence, I'm automatically going to get multi-passionate people. So that's where I started saying, okay, well, what would be a good way to get across to people with neurodivergence that it's cool for them to actually like want a lot of things at once? And I wound up going with Chase the Chaos. And that was kind of it. I like, it was more like, I don't know, Chase the Chaos. Sounds good. Chaos, Chase. They both start with CH. Ha. And that's what I did.
move on.
And I'm done. Ta-da. So the fact that I'm glad that it got that across though. That made me really happy. I'm really glad to hear that. And I hope that people continue to understand that and they continue to get that message out, because I think too many people still feel shame and still feel really bad if they're, trying to do too much at once. Now, obviously there is such a thing as too much at once, but I
Sure,
think
but
that-
maybe not the way we're
I
told.
feel like we are the ones. We really need to start learning to trust ourselves and what the definition of that is, not what other people say.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, yes. Anyway, that is where that came from.
We did it.
I did it.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry
so
for everybody who had to watch my dogs in the background.
that's all right.
No.
Never apologize for dogs.
Thank you, Maddie.
All right. So let's do a small segue here. I'm going to talk about my second beer here.
Ooh.
So while we do that, Lauren's going to grab her second. So I'm going to take her off camera. So what I grabbed is actually, this was sent from a former guest of mine in Arizona who actually works at this brewery. It's Bone House. It's a red ale. It's called Legend of the Red Ghost.
Nice.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Creepy.
That looks very Ozzy Osbourne-ish, does it not?
Yeah.
Is that a lobster? Is that a lobster? Am I?
I don't think
No.
so.
No, you know what it is? It's a dinosaur skull.
Oh, I see it now. Okay, there are the teeth and the eyes.
That's because I was like this, and you couldn't see like the dinosaur.
Yeah, because it
skull.
looked like
Yeah.
it looked like a claw. Okay, cool.
Looked like
That's
Mr. Krabs. Sorry.
Fair.
Sorry, I'm a SpongeBob nut, so I fucking love that thing. So this is, look at the color on that. Look how fucking red
That's really
that looks.
pretty.
Pretty.
What's it
Yeah.
taste like?
It tastes like a good red ale. It's not, sometimes with red ales, I always think of Killian's, which is fucking terrible beer for me. But Killian's is super sweet, which I don't like. And sometimes you have either it's really sweet or it's super hoppy. And this is like right in the middle. It's like just a little sweet, a little hoppy. So this is excellent. Rachel Benkowski, who is runs a group called Beer Babes Family, where they have people from all over the place. Like she's in Arizona. Her business partner is in Canada and Newfoundland.
Wow.
So they just run this Beer Babes Family and just talk about beers. It's great. And she was awesome on the show. She's certified Cicerone, so she knows shit tons of beer. She's a competitive weightlifter, which is fucking great.
Oh,
How badass is that?
that.
So cheers on that. So
Yeah.
Cheers.
yep. All right, Lauren.
I'm also back.
Who's that?
Ah!
Gotcha. I'm back. And I also have a second beverage, also from Douglas. We have Wham Whams. Ooh, where are we here? Wham Whams.
Wham whams.
And it is Imperial Stout with toasted coconut and Madagascar vanilla beans is a 9.5%. A little stronger than the first one I had, which was like 5.7 or something like
Yeah,
that.
that porter was lower, but yeah.
It was very drinkable. Also, like for a warmer day, I mean, porters are more so, which is helpful because like I love a dark beer, but also sometimes I'm like, oh, it's like 80 degrees in my home. And I don't love that. So that was very drinkable. Ooh, this looks
Look how it pours like oil.
I was like, it's so thick, but I'm so excited.
It's so thick. Tasty though.
Yes. Oh, it's gonna be. It's also so cool. The glass is
Ooh,
cold.
look at the color of that broth.
That was mine.
Oh my god. This is so good.
I told you that was a good beer. I was not lying.
I trust you and generally believe you, but also, it's not real till it's real. So now I've tasted it.
Lauren.
It's I can't not.
I know.
It's true. Sorry, JHG.
You guys always make me feel like I could try beer and like it, but every time I try beer, it just tastes like beer to me. And that's like not every time I watch you guys, I'm like, maybe this time it'll be different. And then I try it and I'm like, no, I still can't do it. I get
it though, because I also try things that I know I don't like.
Maddie makes a very concerted effort of doing things.
Is that also in food as well?
Yeah, it's in everything.
Food, like activities.
Yeah.
I draw the line at activities. I can't.
She did.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, can we go, Maddie? Can I tell you? Can we share about the running?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I was like, I'm like, do you want to say it or should I share?
No, by all means, I'd love to hear your version. I'm sure it'll be shorter than mine.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, so like Maddie generally, from time to time, will do like I should try a thing that I think that I don't like, whether it's like a food like, oh, I always hate mushrooms, but she's like, it's been a while. Should I try it again? She'll try it and be like, no, it's still bad. But was it last year? I have no sense of time. Within the last year or two, Maddie very specifically was like, I'm going to try like liking running. Like I'm going to run, like go running regularly. That's how I feel, because I was like, I played sports and I hated running. Like I liked playing sports.
Yeah.
But running.
I hate sports.
This
I
is
will
true.
not be engaging in sport.
That's fair. But also
running is a sport.
No. For me, it's more like a prancing funtivity, you know?
So you're a frolicker.
Yeah, I jaunt.
So what you were looking for was a frolic, not a run.
I jaunt about town. And
jaunt. She does use jaunt.
Jaunting. You're very jaunty.
As a she's not like, oh, I like go for a run every so often for exercise. She's like, I'm gonna try running. So she would like go for a run like regularly. Mm-hmm. She did this. I don't know if it was like a while, like a month, 2 months, whatever. Tested it out, and she's like, I might like this a little bit. And I was like floored. One, that she would try, and two, because it's running.
Do you still run then, Maddie?
Okay, I need to say, whoever suggested a 10K in the chat, you need to cool it. You need to
10K frolic. He
5K.
said 10K frolic. He's talking about.
We're like 40 for 40 level here. Like
I'll
there's
slow
40
down.
dash.
Yeah, I'll do like 100-yard skip with you, but that's
Do you
it.
still,
hard.
so do you still run, Maddie?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Wow. Is someone
I-
chasing you?
so
Is
I-
there a serial killer? I'm just, is there a reason? I
Maybe
just,
Blink
do you
twice
listen
if you need help.
to do you listen to do you listen to true crime podcasts while you're
No, I don't. No,
For
so
motivation.
Lauren knows this. One of the like playful ways that I try to get my head out of work, or I try to turn off the thoughts, because there's so many all the time. And the thing that I like about running is that I'm super shitty at it. So that means that I have to focus like every part of me on like breathing and not falling. And it
Look,
creates
not falling is very real.
the not falling, because that dyspraxia, ooh, I got it so bad. I fall every day. And once
Can
I'm
I-
like the slightest bit
Oh, wow.
falling, I give into the fall. There's no saving that. I just go into it. I lean into it. So like I spend a lot of energy focused on surviving while I run. And that quiet
That feels right.
the 170 voices that are talking at the same time while I'm trying to do things.
It's like it forces you to focus.
I
follow
also
the reasoning. I gotta give respect to the reasoning. I do. I gotta say, I also tried running for a short while.
Are you also a non-sports, non-run, like not into it, but you're like, I'm gonna try.
So
like-
I am actually I am actually deceptively athletic. I hate sports though.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of those people who will stand on the sidelines and like watch other people play. And then you know how like in the movies when you were a kid, they'd have like that kid that would be watching the game like this, and then they'd kick the ball over and the kid would just magically like jump up and hit it with their head into the goal, and everybody's like, whoa, like that's me.
But you don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't. And I really want to. I really want to. And I also tried the running thing because I was promised runner's high.
I've heard this. I don't believe it.
It's bullshit. I believe that it is snake oil because I also ran for a month, never got it.
No. Here's
Never
what it
will.
is, Brianna. I want to be so clear about this. People who believe that a runner's high is real have just never done real drugs. That's it.
Fair. Yes. See, so I think that's the problem is I am entitled.
This is a high.
Yes. You don't know what high is, babe.
No, I have never once. I remember actually finishing my last run
Helpful.
and being like, running is only good if it saves your life. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that feels like a high. Surviving a zombie feels like a great
Or
high.
a dinosaur, or like
Or
a
a
lion, I don't
dinosaur
know.
or a serial
Or a
killer
murderer.
or
Jason Voorhees,
It's
whatever.
so punchy.
But if I don't have a reason, I can't. And I will
You
say
also have the athletic going for you, so you like might also still be able to run with no running practice.
that's fair. I mean, so I do prefer if I'm going to have to run and I'm going to have to move that the reason can be sport, but it has to be particular sports, right? Like soccer, I don't give enough of a shit to actually run at like it feels stupid to me. Like the ball goes past and everybody's like, go get it. And I'm like, why? I'm gonna have to go back with it anyway. Why? Like I don't
Which sport is worth it?
Well, this is the thing. Almost all
everybody's
sports-
gonna disagree with me on this, but I love baseball. I love
As
it.
the running sport?
Yes, I love baseball.
That is
I'm
insane.
sorry.
That is the worst American sport
Okay.
of all time.
Seriously, I
It
knew
is
it.
so
I knew
boring
I
and
wasn't going to be
slow.
allowed to say it. I
No.
knew it. I knew the
No,
moment
you
I
can
said
say it. I'm just
No.
disagreeing.
Doug, cut her off. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Correct.
I don't want to yuck Ari's yum. I'm just saying, like, that is such a boring, slow sport, and maybe for me, but as a basketball nut and somebody who loves basketball's fast.
basketball
And
goes fast, but if you're
baseball's
not watching
slow.
dyed-in-the-wool professionals play basketball, all it is people falling a lot. And I can watch people
Okay,
falling
like
a lot.
children?
Okay,
Like
What? No, no. Okay, so nobody get pissed off if these are your teams. I'm just using this as an example. I was watching the Knicks versus the Celtics one year.
Is
And
that
they're technically pros. They're in the they're in the
professional
NBA. They're in the
basketball.
NBA, right? They're pros.
Yep.
But
Basketball.
they were not
Basketball.
like pros, right? Like LeBron, Kobe. They were like the Celtics and the Knicks. And I watched maybe an hour of that game. And I think within that hour, I watched someone fall 8 times, 9 times. And I'm like, is the floor waxed
Lava.
specially? Like,
Lava.
why is it?
Lava.
What is going on? Like, it was just so
That's a
much falling
motivational
and
sport.
tripping. And I spent more time laughing than I did watching the game. So I can't really get into basketball unless I'm watching like the people who are like really, really, really good. But I understand nobody ever likes baseball. Anytime I say baseball in a room full of people, everybody's like,
okay?
I like
Okay,
baseball.
Friends for you.
I want to chime in here and say maybe it's not baseball. Maybe it's that all sports suck. It could be that, right?
Maddie's trying to be inclusive here.
Let me be so clear here.
Maddie's just trying to smash.
I think there is a reasonable chance that basically all sports are just following a ball around.
Oh.
People get, like,
Not all of them.
Hockey has a puck.
Hockey has a puck.
it's a flattened
And
ball.
fights. Lots of
Flattened ball.
There's lots of
Curling,
fights.
curling has a giant stone that they're heaving
Big
across
ball.
the ice.
Big heavy ball. I'm telling you, they're all the only sport I like, gymnastics, because they make
Also
gravity
cool.
their bitch. That's cool. That's
They
very
make
cool.
gravity.
Diving also cool. No ball.
We should. Can we get in touch with the like U.S. gymnastics folks and make that the new slogan? Like
No ball.
U.S. gymnastics with gravity.
I feel like that would go over badly though, Lauren. No balls.
Gymnastics.
I don't know.
No balls. Gravity's my bitch.
Yeah.
I also do so actually the one sport that breaks the exception for me, I will not play it, but I will watch it, is hockey. I will watch
Okay,
it.
Great little
I
flag.
did like hockey, and I didn't mind soccer because they were continuous. The thing I don't like is if you take breaks, I'm gonna start a craft project. I will not.
You're not coming back.
No, I will read a
You've
book.
lost her.
Thank you,
I
Katie.
don't. Yeah, I need the like continuous action.
I mean,
and also,
hockey's got a lot of that.
I really like it when they wear special versions of their outfits. I think that's really cute.
Oh, that's
They're
like the
we're
themed
wearing
days.
our like, old-timey outfit today, and I like that because that's just fun, you know.
Yeah,
Alright.
I mean, yeah. Katie's asking what our thoughts are on the
Oh, love
Olympics.
the Olympics. USA.
Just
the
generally.
only time I'm patriotic, honestly.
I mean, yeah.
I never watch.
Never at all.
I've
How do
never
you
watched.
You
it.
actively avoid it.
It's not so much that I avoid it. It's just like it was never on in my house, so I never watched it. And I feel like if I was made to sit and watch it now, I would probably do what Maddie said and wind up starting a project instead. It would not be interesting to me. I feel like I would just be like, oh, look, that guy swam really far. It wouldn't grab me. I can't. I'm sorry. I do find interest. I want to try.
No.
I want to try fencing. I really do.
Of all the sports,
It
you wanna
has
try
a
fencing?
sword. You cannot go wrong with a sword. That's
I mean, you could go really wrong with a sword.
Yeah.
Really wrong.
I mean, you could go wrong with a sword, but only if the pointy end goes into you. As long as I keep it in
As
the
long as I
opposite-
keep the pointy end in the other person.
Exactly. See, you're getting it. You understand. Someone just asked if I lived in a communist house. Maybe, comrade. Possibly. So what if I did?
Okay, fencing noted.
Yeah, I would totally agree with this comment. Carlin, now, if you ever listen to George Carlin stuff as a side tangent,
Oh yeah.
like his stuff now that he was talking about in the 90s and 2000s is like sounds like shit that should be talked about right now.
Like
And it's
deeply
just-
relevant.
It's eerie. It's really fucking eerie. And
He
I
would
was
be one of the few comedians I think who would have really not had to even change his material to still be relevant. And it's really creepy. It's really creepy.
yeah, and I was lucky. I saw him live 4 times.
Oh, that's
before
awesome.
he passed away.
That's really
and,
awesome.
and it was really, really great set. And towards the end, he would do his set for a little bit, and then he would just go off on this fucking tangent of just fuck all the power. Like he just, I don't know. I was like, great, do it, dude. So yeah.
Funny ranters are people who I aspire to be. Like I actually did try stand up one time and it did not go well because I truly believe that's because I didn't rant the whole time because I want to be that person who can rant angrily and funny and people are just like
Lewis Black.
Yeah. Lewis Black, he's another one. I don't know if anybody in here has seen Kyle Kinane, but he's another one.
Oh, I love Kyle Kinane.
Kyle Kinane is incredible. I love the way he describes
face.
himself. He describes himself as he's like he looks like a jagoff, but he talks about his feelings. You'd like him. Like I love that guy. He's so great.
Yeah, his stand-up's fantastic. That's a and he's not like a mainstream dude. Like that's a good
No, but it makes me really sad that he's not. I think he's highly, highly underrated.
Well, he's a guy that his comedy is he uses a lot of like vocabulary that isn't. That's the problem. Is a lot of people, if you want the base things, you get shit like Dane Cook, who is a fucking knob. But like those are the dudes that just like, well, Dane Cook, like fuck Dane Cook. Like
Listen, Dane Cook had his moment. Okay, the man did sell out Madison Square Garden. That is
Was
a
that
dream.
before or after he dated a 17-year-old?
That was before. Listen, I want to make it clear. I'm not the head of the Dane Cook fan club. Okay, I'm just saying that when I'm just saying that when I was a teenager, I did think he was funny.
He had like moments that were where it's also like unique, not just like everyone has a version of this joke.
Yeah.
Then it got like he was like mailing it in and like.
You know who's getting like that now, and it's kind of killing me is Kevin Hart. I've seen him live, and he was hilarious, and now I feel like he's like, I don't know. I'm a short guy, and I'm loud, and people make fun of how short I am. Money, please. Like that's basically how he is in every single movie, and it kills me because I'm like, so much potential wasted in you, sir. So much. All five of you.
Is that too tall? Is that?
I don't
is
know
he
how
all right?
tall he is.
Also, I think I was like, I don't really want to out us to the folks at home, but I think Ariana and me and Maddie are all the same height.
Maddie,
which
you're
is
5'2" as well. Oh my
You
god.
never know.
We come up to like here on Doug.
I am damn near a foot taller than all of you.
Yeah, you'd be a
And
sight
yet-
to see.
And
But
yet
virtually,
I get the feeling that if all 4 of us were in the room, the 3 of us would be way louder than Doug by like a good 50 decibels. So,
I would like to point out though, in crowds, I am very quiet, and the reason I'm very quiet is because I'm partially deaf. So I can't hear shit if there's a bunch of background noise. So it looks when I am in a crowd like I am disconnected or not interested, and that is not it. It's almost like a dissociation thing, which my wife talked. So going back to neurodivergence, my wife is neurodivergent. 2 or 3 of my 4 kids are neurodivergent. Like it's all that. So it's like me trying to, as a neurotypical with some small neurodivergent things. Like I'm very task focused, but the problem is if there's too many tasks, it's complete paralysis.
Yep.
I think that's still that's correct.
Familiar.
That's how it works.
That's very familiar. Yes.
So there are certain things like I'm very Sheldon about where I sit in my living room. That is my seat in the couch.
Where is it?
Don't sit on my fucking spot in the couch. That is my spot.
Is it a 3-person couch? And which seat is it?
The couch could fit 4 people on it.
Okay, which is yours?
Mine is on the right of the couch, the far right of the couch, because there's a table there. I can put my drink.
At the edge.
And it is my butt imprints are in that portion of the fucking couch. And that is like one of those things where it's like, I am not ADHD or neurodivergent, but there are certain traits that are very connected to that so much of the other things. But I think we talked about spectrum earlier, and I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, and I apologize. But the spectrum stuff is applied to so many things. It applies to neurodivergence, applies to autism, it applies to how your sexuality is, your gender, all that stuff is a fucking spectrum. And I am I'm not neurodivergent, but I have some tendencies in that realm. And it took me 50 fucking years to realize that. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, it's relevant. It can be relevant to anybody and everybody. Maddie and I talk about this a lot. Of if it's good for some, it can also be good for all.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I noticed. It's so funny. We're actually back to talking about the summit.
It happens.
We'll always come back. But that is one thing that I did think was really cool, specifically about this year, is that everything that is being talked about is super neurodivergent friendly, right? But I could totally see a lot of it, including like Maddie's talk, including some of what I'm talking about. I'm going to be talking about neurodivergent self-care. A lot of it could actually just be helpful for people who love people who are neurodivergent, or people who are not neurodivergent as far as they know, but might be on the spectrum, or who just need help in that area. Like, I forgot who said it, but they basically said something along the lines of something, anything that makes things more accessible helps everyone.
Yeah.
And
Universal design.
exactly, yeah. And so it's like, I'm seeing that even in our event. Like, I'm seeing that, yeah, this is helpful for these people, but even if you're not in that group, there's stuff that's going to be helpful for you. So it's really kind of cool to see that how we're kind of a little bit more connected than we even give ourselves credit for.
Yeah, I also think it's really important that we understand in like the context of having to like live in society, right? Like, it's a pretty ableist place. And if we want it to be less ableist, we don't necessarily need to only talk to disabled people, right? We need to cultivate spaces where fully abled people or people on the ability spectrum are joining into the conversation and learning about experiences that might be different than theirs. And so I think, like, yes, it's great to cultivate a space for neurodivergent people. It's great to welcome neurodivergence and allies, but also neurotypical people should watch this. Like, learn. Like, this is how we get better, is by like filling our awareness gaps with other people's lived experiences, because
100%.
we are not going to know what we don't know. And so, like, this is how we get better.
For sure.
Yes. So, as is tradition, I am going to be the first one to bow out, because I go to bed at grandpa time, and it is about bedtime for me. But I wanted to yet again thank you guys for having me on here. I love being here. It is like so much fun. I love all of you in the comments. Maybe all of you. I don't know. I do. I love it. And it was amazing seeing you again, Maddie. I can't wait to see you again in September. I hope to see all of you guys out there in September. We're going to have a class. Yeah, come hang out. Even if you just want to basically BS with Lauren for an hour every day.
You get access to me for 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. So definitely, come check us out. If you have any questions about it, Lauren and I are running this thing. We'll be able to answer anything for you. Doug, thank you again. Maddie, see you soon. Guys, I'm on my way out.
All right. Thanks, Ari. Really appreciate you being here.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
We can keep talking though.
Yeah,
Comments.
Absolutely. So we got lots more we can talk
Maddie,
about, right?
Huh?
I mean, there's never it's a never ending like list of things that we could talk about.
For sure. So let's focus a bit, if I could focus a bit on how you both view this summit and how it relates to you personally. Like, so there's like, as again, I said that I'm mostly neurotypical with some small neurodivergent tendencies, but how does that relate to you in your life and how things work for you? Like, Maddie, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I was like, I said some of mine earlier.
You did earlier.
Well, I am fully neurodivergent in more than one way. Yay. I got the lottery. Yeah, so I have ADHD. I also have autism. And they show up in my life in a lot of different ways. And like speaking of spectrums, some of them are really great and some of them are extremely disabling. And so
distracting thing that I feel like you'll need to address because you also love dogs. Sorry.
Yeah,
Katie.
no, thank you. I needed to see this. Okay, you can maybe see my dog in the background jumping on the couch. I'm not sure. Oh, there's one. You can see him. He's right there. I can't figure out this. He's very little. That's Norman. And then I also have another dog named Roxy.
Mhm.
They're not the same, but look semi-similar.
Yeah, they're like a same but different situation. And they're both very many breeds mixed together. Yeah, rescues. And
Sorry.
I don't remember what I was saying before.
Spectrum. Some are good and some are bad.
Thank you, Lauren. Oh, we were
This is why I'm here.
I sometimes feel bad that like so much of your life is just like wrangling neurodivergence. But as a neurodivergent,
Don't you wrangle each other?
We do.
Kind of.
Yeah.
We do. We do. Yeah. So for me, I think there's a lot of ways that it shows up that's really amazing. And there are some ways that it shows up and it's really, really disabling. And so for me, that includes a lot of like sensory overwhelm and sensory needs. Got to have socks on. Will have a mental breakdown if my sleeve is wet. Little things like that. And then in other ways, like sometimes the way that I relate to other people or the way that I communicate and socialize. So that shows up. And then the ADHD thing is like, I love a deep dive. I love a special interest. I want to understand every single thing about all the things I'm interested in. And I've never, ever casually engaged with the subject in my entire life. So it really shows up in like hyper-focused and like can't stop consuming information all the time. So yeah, that's how it shows up. It makes me really good at certain things. And also sometimes I look down and then I look up and it's been 7 hours and I don't know how that happened. And I haven't gone to the bathroom or had food or water. And then I'm always like, why do I feel so bad? What do we think? You know? So yeah, that's
baseline human existence.
But I will say that I'm like super lucky to work with Lauren and to work with Lauren on this specific issue. Because we are a perfect example of how like a neurodivergent and a neurotypical can like bring complementary skill sets to each other and not just like wrangle each other, but like elevate each other, right? Because it's not just that we work well together. Like the things that we create together are so much better than the things we would do individually. And so that's really nice. You know, there's a lot of strength in that.
Maddie, I feel like you have information. Oh, yeah. You always have information, but Katie.
Yes. As I mentioned, not a casual consumer of information. So I'd love to.
Not even a little bit.
Wish it could be. It's borderline debilitating.
I know I saw your other things. We'll talk about it in a second. Don't worry. But Maddie first.
It's very important. So if you're looking specifically at autism, which is complicated, and especially for women and people of color, it is really underdiagnosed in the medical community. And so it is not uncommon for people to have had previous interactions with the medical world and have it get missed. That's true of ADHD and autism, truthfully. If you're looking for autism diagnosis, there's this really cool assessment online called the RADS-R. It's the RAADS-R, all caps. And basically it's, I think, 75 questions that you can look at and answer, and it will give you a score. And like, it was designed by clinicians. So it's not something where it's like, which Sex and the City character are you? Like, it's not somebody making a quiz like that. It's
a quiz.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like in OK Magazine, right?
A little fuller assessment.
Yeah, and actually it's the RADS-R because it's the revised one. So these are people who are keeping up with peer-reviewed science, which as a consumer of information is extremely important to me. So that test is great. Even if you're not convinced that you have autism or thinking about it, it's really cool to see the types of things that might indicate that. And it might help you bring understanding to other people in your life. But generally, when you take this test, no neurotypical scored above a 65. Your girl here, 124, rocking that, almost double. Way to go. But it's great because it really asks some very particular types of questions that if you are neurodivergent, probably will resonate with you. And it works. I think that because there's a lot of overlapping symptoms between autism and ADHD, it's a very good place to start. And I also want to make a shout out to people who are like skeptical of the medical community and are maybe hesitant to seek diagnosis because of past interactions. Like, it's okay to do things on your own schedule and what works for you, you know? So yeah, hope that was helpful. Sorry that was such a long rant. We should probably stop talking about it or I'm just going to keep going.
No, but as Katie said, thanks for the info. Katie is a really good friend of mine, really is in the same vein. Like my wife talks a bit about being self-diagnosed because there's certain things that I know that there are actual countries that if you are diagnosed as autistic, they will not allow you in.
Mm-hmm.
New Zealand being one of them, which seems kind of weird because New Zealand's usually a pretty open place. But it's something where like some of our kids, like one of our kids definitely is on that spectrum. And we told him about if you want to travel, you maybe don't want to get an official diagnosis.
Officially. Oh my God.
Which is such a bummer because you also can't get access to affordable and reasonable support unless you get a diagnosis. But then if you get a diagnosis, it holds you back in some very tangiable ways. It sort of feels like
double-edged sword kind of deal.
Yeah, perhaps the system is a smidge broken because
what do you mean?
Yeah, it's just hard to work around. Also, trying to get an ADHD diagnosis as an ADHD person, they're like, make an appointment, call this hotline, wait for it to give you like a number menu. Remember to go to your appointment. Now there's 3 follow-up appointments. Like that's ADHD hell right there. I get it. I get the hesitance.
So this is Daniel's talking about his kids two boys who have ASD, and he was curious about himself on his tendencies. And listen, some of that stuff is genetic.
Oh, for
sure. That's a scientific thing. And again, as someone who is largely neurotypical, like having kids and a spouse who are in that vein, who largely self-diagnose, but it's something where you just go, hey, what do you need? And as you said, like even doing the Chase the Chaos thing where you're listening to hear how things were as someone who's neurotypical is to be able to learn how to help those who aren't, who are like you. Like, how do you adapt? What do you need? How do you can provide support? There's a lot of different things. And I just thought Katie was saying your point about trying to find support is like an ADHD escape room.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to solve this riddle and then remember that like clue from like several hours ago.
Yeah. Also, like, do you have your health insurance card? Where did you put that? You know,
Maddie, this feels relevant to your.
I don't know. I may or may not be speaking from personal experience.
Like, what do you mean?
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So let's go quick. I'm just going to diverge real quick for my third beer. This is from the North Brewery, which is a coffee stout, which is Furiosa.
Oh,
ooh. Is it?
Did you see the movie?
Named after the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I have not seen yet, and I'm really looking forward to.
Anybody in the comments, let us know if it's worth seeing.
Yeah, this is super dark. Look how fucking dark that shit is.
It's opaque.
Like to the point that I poured it and there was almost no head because it's so thick.
Danger. It's like, what percentage is that one?
Yeah, what do we recommend? 1.5?
That is 10.
10. Oh, great.
Okay.
I had a 4.2 and a 5, so the first two are light because I knew I'd be having this. So I knew this would be a heavier one. The North Brewery is one of my favorite breweries. They're actually dealing with the street in front of them is being completely repaved,
Oh,
but dug up, and all the piping is being redone and the sidewalks. So all the businesses on that particular street are struggling because basically they can't drive on the street. So I go down there at least once or twice a week and try to buy stuff so that I can help support them and keep them running. So, but yeah, that's super good coffee stout. If
is
that
it
was out,
heavily coffee?
it's not overly heavy. It's just
Okay.
got that nice coffee
Clearly,
note that you like.
clearly.
Like some of them, you get them and it's just like they had made a second one recently that was called Dode, which I don't know what the name is, but that was it was a coffee that was almost like bitter coffee, which I was not a fan of. And they rarely miss on stouts, so that was just one of those exceptions to the rule of what they make. So yeah, this was super good. So
Really quickly to go back because I'm like ADHD neurodivergent tendencies, but not as much as some of our friends. Katie asked about my cat as well. This black and white fool up here, this is Frank. I have adopted him. He's like 12 at this point, but he's lively, except for currently because he's very sleepy because cats. But that's Frank. Thank you for asking. Pets are very important to us. Generally, I feel like on this call.
Do you have pets?
He has pets.
Oh, I have a dog and 2 cats.
Tell me their names, please.
So the dog is Simon. He's a Boston Terrier. He is a very sweet little old man. He just doesn't bark, but he loves everybody and wants to be friends with everybody. He's just an old guy. He can't see very well. He's about 14, but 14 is old for the short-nosed breeds because of the inherent health issues they have because of their snouts being so small. We have a tortie cat named Yoda, and you already renamed her that because when we got her, her ears were like Yoda. I'm not a Star Wars fan, for the record. It's not that. And then we have Suki, who is a Burmese, so just a pure black cat. Her sister, goodness, now her name is escaping me. She passed away last year. She had diabetes, and it was a rough go for her. So, but yeah, we have pets. We have 3 of them. And I would love to get a kitten, but at the same time, I don't want to upset the old cat's balance. Because old cats are not great at adapting to things mostly, and I don't want them peeing on stuff because they have something new.
That's fair. I have no experience with more than this is my first furry pet. I had fish growing up. It wasn't like a real pet experience, but I feel like I've heard or seen that like cat with kitten might work better than cat with bigger cat.
Sometimes it depends on how the cat feels.
Depends on the cats. That's her.
The cat gets like maternal or paternal to the kitten, and other times it just pisses a lot, to be like, my space. Me.
Well, the issue is our oldest cat, Yoda, is a tortie, and torties it's a weird thing because torties have this black and brown color, and they're almost always female. And I don't know why that is, but that's what they are. And she runs the fucking house. Our dog is terrified of her, like just terrified of her. And I don't understand. She'll hiss and do that stuff to him when she's in a mood, but they largely just kind of everybody meanders to the house and nobody bothers each other. But Yoda runs the freaking house. And my worry is if we got a kitten, Yoda be like, "Hey, fuck you," and I'm just going to beat the shit out of you. And that's exactly what I don't want. So
yeah,
that's true.
You know what?
If that's her vibe.
I think that's good that you're being thoughtful. Also, good for Yoda. She sounds like a boss ass bitch.
She very much is.
Yeah, I like her. I like her vibes. She's powerful.
She's great. And what's funny is she gravitates towards me because all pets have one person they gravitate.
A favorite. Let's just use the words.
Yeah. And Simon is like that with me. He loves Jill, but he's very much like when I sit on the couch and he's on the couch, he'll come over and just be like all up in my shit and just be like right in my face.
Does Simon have a seat? Does
No,
Simon have a specific couch seat?
No, when he gets on the couch, he just kind of lays down and we throw. And what's weird is in the morning, So there's a bit of a routine, and Simon is a dog of routines. He is just a creature of habit. So he gets up, I pick him up because he won't walk down our steps because they're wood and they have no runner. And he has claws and he's very unsteady when he doesn't have carpet or something to walk on. So I pick him up, carry him down, I take him out, and then I start making coffee for Joe and I because I make coffee every morning. And then he goes into the living room after I give him a treat. I'll fill his food. Sometimes he eats breakfast in the morning. Usually it's later. But he'll go out to the couch and he'll jump on. And then when I come over and he looks and he just gives me a look like, are you going to tuck me in? And I take a blanket and I just throw it over him and he just like, and just settles right in the couch.
Oh my God, you tuck him in?
I just throw a blanket over him. I don't like tuck him in like
mean,
he's a little baby. It just.
I mean, that counts. And that's adorable.
Yeah.
That made my heart like get squishy. That was really cute. Also, I love that he's just like, I won't go down the stairs, but I do expect to be moved down the stairs.
And he also won't go up the stairs because.
Yeah, I'm saying I love that he's like,
no.
courier, grab me.
The funny thing is, if we take him for a hike, he parkours all over every fucking thing you can possibly imagine.
Because
he's confusing.
But he won't go up the wooden steps.
I mean, they're slippery.
No, it's a power move. Yeah, it's a power move. He's trying to be like, I run this.
For sure. He's very much a power move. So, yeah. And listen, we all have pets and we all have affinities for them and all that stuff. So, yeah. I will say that my wife and I are both of the opinion that Simon's probably going to be our last dog. We love him. He's the perfect little dog. He doesn't require a lot of maintenance. He doesn't bark. He's just a super sweet little old man. But my wife and I like to go on day trips and do things. And like, that's great if you can find places that will take dogs. And a lot of places do. But like, I would like to be able to go to places and just go with my wife and not have to have a dog in tow. So it's just going to be, we're just basically going to be cat people after this. And listen, he's 14, but he's not in bad shape. He's in great shape. And it could be years until things go. And I will say, of all the pets we have, that dog's going to wreck me when he passes on. He's just going to wreck me. So, and the dog we have,
thing that I haven't experienced yet that I'm not looking forward to.
Yeah. And the previous dog we had was a girl named Zek, and she was a gray pitty, and she was just an adorable fucking dog. But she had such hyper separation anxiety, and like wherever my wife went, she was right on her leg, just wherever. If my wife got up and went to the bathroom, Zach got up and walked and sat right next to her in the toilet. Like, just, it was so rough. So yeah, it's just something where I love dogs, but dogs require a lot of maintenance and cats don't.
Yeah, they do. Dogs are a lot. They're a lot.
Pandora. Why the hell did you name your cat after a fucking
You're kind of asking
the portent of the end of all things? You named her after that.
That does feel right, though.
Yeah.
Oh man, Manny.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry. That sucks.
Yes, I'm sorry, Manny.
That's terrible.
Yeah. No, now that we went on a downer.
You know, your basset hound is hanging out with some of my dogs from my lifetime, and they're very lovely. So I bet that they're having a very good time.
For sure. All right. So, Maddie, I had a question for you because somebody asked that if you were in the Chicago area, because you were hanging out with Lauren.
You
don't have to say just.
No,
version of answering.
Here's my address and my social.
Mother's maiden name.
No, I used to live in Chicago for many, many years. And when Lauren and I first met, I was living in Chicago. So she came and visited me in Chicago.
Okay, now, side note on that, the 2 times that I visited her was in the middle of July, in the middle of summer, and like the first week of December. So it was like the hottest and coldest options. In Chicago, it was a little challenging.
Yeah, it was tough times. So I used to live there. Now I live in Boston. So even further from Lauren, who we run a company together. So very
great.
practical. We cover the whole country, y'all.
True.
So yeah, it's I'm now on the East Coast, and I moved back because my whole family lives up and down the East Coast. And so it's just a lot easier to travel. And straight up, I love an Amtrak ride. So anywhere that I can go via Amtrak, and like the Northeast has a lot of trains. So I really appreciate that kind of travel.
I wish there was more. Like,
Yes, I agree. I wish there were more trains across the country. I would love to take a train.
I would like some more high speed rail kind of things.
Yes. Can we get like the Japanese high speed rail?
Live in Boston.
Yeah. I mean,
I was like, this is one of my West Coast people, right? Like, we don't.
Yay.
Hey, I would like to just say, as a Boston Celtics hater, fuck Boston. That's not a dig on you, Maddie. That's just I fucking hate the Celtics.
I think I've made it clear that I do not care about sports. So that means
you did. You made it very abundantly clear.
like people are like, ew, Patriots. I'm like, yeah, fuck hockey.
That is like deeply a joke, but also like so real.
So true.
Like I'll say something. I'm like, oh yeah, the Warriors. She's like, what sport is that? What are we talking about? I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah,
we all have our strengths and knowledge realms.
To be fair, sports in its own way. Like I do a show with our friend Renee where we do the Cult Bar show. I have yet to delve into the idea of let's do sports, because sports is a cult in a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
I would love to do that, but I have no documentary, because we always do docuseries or
based off of a media.
Yes, and because the idea that like you can just worship a fucking group that you have no influence over, you don't control, you don't participate in.
Yes.
Listen, I'm a basketball fan. I love basketball, but I don't ever do we won a championship. No, not we. The team I root for won a championship. I never do that shit.
You deeply are part of it
now. Also, some people like don't change their underwear. I like
the sports luck stuff.
Yeah, like superstition. And I was like, I could not be further out. I am so deeply not here for this. Change.
Right.
I'm not.
I have a tangent on it for both of you.
No.
No. Here's a tangent.
What
are you superstitious about?
Oh,
Maddie's like,
I feel like Maddie has like 12 examples, and I'm like, I'm not sure. Maybe Maddie.
Listen, I'm not judging. I'm just curious because,
I get it. These are the questions that I have. I'm not sure. Okay, Matt. I don't have an immediate answer because I feel like I need to think about it. But Maddie has 12 answers, it seems.
Maybe
10. So many. So the first thing I'm really superstitious about is lying.
Wait, how is that superstitious?
Okay. I believe that like when you are, let me be clear, I love a fib. I'm down with a cute lie, right?
I don't know what meant.
A little baby lie, okay?
But like your peanut.
Oh, okay. Wow. So I'm okay with like a cute little lie, right? Like when you're like Easter bunnies and whatever, that's fine. Whatever.
Okay.
It's fine. But I think that when people lie about serious things, like I believe that they are manifesting that energy. And I am very superstitious about when I hear that people have lied about something serious, when they're like, yeah, my grandma died, like over and over and over again at work. I'm like, are you trying to kill your relatives? Because I feel like that's what's happening.
Because they're like talking. Wait.
Yeah.
Okay. But when it's a lie, so like when someone's like, my grandma died, so I got to get out of work.
That's what I'm
so saying. They're like making it happen.
Yes, I feel like I'm very superstitious about lying because the negative energy around like don't put that out there. Like do not put that out there, especially about health things, especially about life or death things. Like I really think that is extremely bad juju.
Karma.
And so like I'm very
karma vibes of lying.
Yeah, I'm just like,
There's like white lies and like fibs because there's like
okay,
Santa,
but-
Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, but then there's also like where you're like lying for a surprise for someone's birthday or whatever.
yes. And then the second thing that came to mind when you asked what am I superstitious about is that I was raised in Appalachia, right on the edge.
Oh,
And so like I do not mess with things that like aren't mine, especially if they're in the woods, especially if you find them buried, especially if you find them in some water. Do not mess with things. You find a weird box that's like wrapped up, do not open it. You find a jar that has a wax cover, don't open it. You hear your name in the woods.
no, you didn't.
No,
Oh my God, why would you even say
question
that?
it. Ask no questions. Turn your
Why would
music up, babe.
There's also the idea of don't whistle in the dark.
No, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to ask. Should I not ask? I don't know what that
I mean,
means. I shouldn't ask.
I'll tell you this. It's just like generalized Appalachian juju.
Yeah, mind your business in Appalachia.
Absolutely,
Mind your business.
especially in
Don't
the
fuck
woods.
around.
Let me.
Don't be curious. Don't look.
Mhm,
Just fucking.
Is the I
Doug
don't.
gets it.
It's
Doug
still
gets it.
sunlight, but I don't want to be scared. But is the "don't whistle in the dark" like a not euphemism, but like a phrase, or is like are you not actually supposed to
No,
whistle?
literally do not whistle in the dark,
Okay,
especially in indigenous territories.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna just
yeah.
not think about that or do that ever and not look it up. It's totally fine.
Yeah, you want to do a deep dive? Do a deep dive on that. You'll stay up for 3 days. It'll be great.
No, you'll
Shut
just,
it.
like, avoid the region for life, which
Okay,
that's fine. That's
It's
okay.
Most of Appalachia you can avoid. That's totally fine.
I no longer live there, so I understand.
Okay.
But I also, I mean, a lot of it's very beautiful, and there's a lot of lovely history there, and also like Doug is very right when he says like, do not be curious. And
It's
and
weird
I'll
'cause
be
I'm also
honest,
very
it's not
curious.
just, I know you are, but that is not just about superstitious things. I would say even when you're encountering strangers, like in very small communities in Appalachia that are very insulated, like do not be curious. Be courteous and then leave.
Yeah, keep your head down and just be
Mhm.
nice, and then get the fuck out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's a reason the movie Deliverance was made.
Exactly. I wasn't gonna say it, but we are at Pig People. That's what's happening.
Also, I was like, I didn't see that. I don't
No,
know. I
you
did very. This is-
Don't watch that because you will.
I'll die probably.
Never.
You won't die, but you'll be like, "Fuck! What did I just watch?"
Yeah. It's
So
deeply
Lauren
disturbing.
doesn't do it scary. Doesn't do scary.
And you
things
don't,
probably.
you don't do scary things. It's scary and fucked up. It's more the fucked up.
Oh, that's. I mean, both are
not.
not good because like they're scary. Okay, like whatever. Like, we've talked about this. Like
They're
gory,
good.
scary, jump scary. I don't love jump scary, but it's the psychological scary that like really fucks with
Yeah,
me.
definitely
I do not want because I will think about it forever.
Yep.
I don't know what to do with this, but it feels like it's ominous and bad.
What are you superstitious about, Lauren?
I mean,
This is a good one. Katie just made a point. Close your curtains before sundown.
Is
In
that it?
Appalachia,
Okay.
you definitely do that.
Yeah,
Okay,
but that's also so people don't see you naked. Let's be so for real.
I know. Okay. I'm a little the logical part. I'm like, I don't know what that one meant specifically in terms of superstition.
All right, so I'm gonna try my best. As Maddie is a bit more experienced in Appalachia than I was on the edge. I was on the edge of Appalachia. I was in upstate. I was in rural Pennsylvania, in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's
So
close
that-
enough.
That's
You're-
close enough. So,
yeah.
but I wasn't in West Virginia, and that's where the shit is really prevalent. Basically, you want to create a barrier to yourself when you're in your house. It sounds
Okay.
dumb, but it isn't in that area because
Mhm.
there's a lot of stuff you don't know what the fuck's going on in there. My grandparents owned a section of woods that was several hundred acres. In the daytime, I ran through that shit like it was great. As soon as it got dusk, I got the fuck out of those woods because
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not. Even my grandmother was like, "Do not be in those woods when it's dark."
Okay, I just like don't need to be in nature when it's dark. Generally,
I mean, here's the
Personally.
thing, girl. You don't really like nature to begin with.
it's fine.
You're a
I
real
just-
homebound gal, and so that's cool. Like you love you love an indoor scenario. So I feel like
do.
you don't have
I
to
mean,
worry
nature's
about
cool. It's amazing. It's fine. I'll like visit it, but then I will like leave it.
it's fine.
Stay,
I
if you
want
go
it to be
visit it, stay in your
outside.
hotel room and don't go out outside.
Yeah,
at
I
night.
would like the nature to be outside. It's cool out there.
I
I feel like that might take care of a lot of this situation, maybe.
Absolutely.
We can't. Oh God.
We're not doing that one.
Nope, not doing that.
Go there.
I mean, it is fair, and also no, thank you.
Absolutely.
I feel like okay, my version is part of me is like, don't tempt fate versions, right? I guess I'm not like I'm not overly superstitious on it, but like I'm not gonna. What is happening? Well,
You're not wrong, Manny.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That is accurate. They're like, what is that crazy noise? What is that like throbbing box in the wood?
Okay,
I'm gonna open it.
No, okay. I'm curious about people who are alive. I'm not curious about like questionable noises happening. I'm like, no, lock all the doors, like back myself in the corner so my back is protected. What can I see? Everything. Use my peripheral vision. Get a knife. I don't know, or something to protect yourself. I'm not trying to tempt fate, so I'm like, I'm not over like if shit happens, whatever. But I'm not trying to like open umbrellas inside or like walk under ladders or whatever. But I'm not like shit happens and whatever. But I'm like if there's a ladder, I was like I'll walk around it. But like in the vibes of like jinxes, it's like when you're like things like specifically, I feel like I hear this happens. No, he's here. He's here. He has arrived. You
summoned him. God damn it, you summoned him when we start talking about the woods.
From the man who's deep in Los Angeles. Not a lot of woods there. Welcome, Zach. So I feel like jinxes, if you will, like which is like not the same version of like sports lucky, but it's like when a sports game is going well and someone's like, oh, like we're probably gonna win this. I was like, why would you say that out loud? Like that sort of level of like, the universe is gonna hear you. Like those kinds of tempting of fate's versions. Like again, don't tempt fate. So like I don't care that much, but I'm like, I'll avoid opening the umbrella or like doing the ladder or like saying the sports thing, even if it's going well. You're like, oh, this is awesome, but like don't say we're gonna win. Like don't say that out loud. Those levels of superstition, there's probably more, but I feel like those are the ones that I catch myself being like, why would you say that?
Sorry.
This is great.
I'm sorry.
That is a deliverance quote.
Yeah, so. It is.
I don't know deliverance, and this feels weird.
It is weird.
It's not great. I promise you.
I feel like I need to leave. Should I leave to go get my third beverage?
Go get your drink, and Maddie and I will discuss deliverance.
Wait, I need a drink too.
I don't want to be here for that part.
No, it's good. It's good.
Okay, this is the best part. So you don't know Zach. Zach is a vinyl fanatic, and he wears multiple slippers in his house. So that is the context for this, depending on the room he's in his house. Great. Well played, Daniel. All right, so what other things from Appalachia? Like, so I'm trying to think because it's been a while. I haven't lived in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, in 30 plus years.
Yeah, I'm a little bit out of it too. So the time I'm from North Carolina, so southern parts of the Appalachians. And yeah, just a lot of things about like noises in the woods, like clicking or humming, like that.
Basically, was it the same? It was like ignore all that shit and get the hell out of the woods as fast as you can.
It was like ignore, or like do not. It wasn't even just like don't go after it. It was like do not give it your attention. Right, like that element of it where it's like no, turn the music up and close the curtains. Like that's the vibe, and then there's something about it that feels like very reminiscent to some of the ways that people in like Ireland and Scotland talk about like fairies.
The Fae, and all
Yeah,
that.
the fairies say, where it's like they're up to no good. Like, don't give them an inch, you know? And it feels like sort of a different version of that. And what's weird about it in Appalachia is that it's not talked about as like, here is the spooky thing. It's like, just don't do it. Nope. And it's just very practically communicated, like through every person, every older person in your life is like, nope, no, you didn't. Nope, get inside, you know? And I think it's interesting because they don't actually like, you know, people aren't there being like, it's a chupacabra. Like, that's not really what's happening.
No.
No.
What's interesting is the woods that my grandparents owned. There was a part where I was just going through the middle of it, and I was just a curious kid. In the middle of the day, I was out fucking running around, and me and my cousins, and we came across this foundation of a building in the middle of my grandparents' woods. Just a foundation. There was no walls. It was just cinder block things in the middle of the woods.
Mhm.
And we were like, what the fuck is this? This feels really weird. Like,
Yeah.
as kids, and it wasn't something we were like we could identify because we were fucking like 9 and 10 years old. So we
Yeah.
go back and we fucking haul ass back to my grandparents, and my mom's like, oh, that used to be a carpet factory. I'm like, it's in the middle of the fucking woods. And they're like, yeah, that was about 80 years ago.
Ugh.
And it was in the middle of the woods. I'm like, how the fuck did they get it? Like, all you can think of is logistics. Like, how the fuck did they get the carpets anywhere? Because they're in the middle of the, and she's like, oh, well, there was and she's like, never go back there again because that's a mess. And that's all she said.
It feels ominous.
And it does feel ominous, and we never fucking went back where it was. Never.
And that's the whole thing. It's like, it's always just like the elder people in your life and in the community are just like, nope. And that's just like the prevailing sentiment. And you can always tell when somebody is from out of town because you see them messing around in ways that it's like, oh, no. Like, clearly you are not from here.
Yeah. All right. So, Lauren, you grabbed another beer. What do you got? Let's see it.
Oh,
I also
God,
have a third. Yeah, I talked about the third one. So you go next.
I'm
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Pick. It's all good.
I'm gonna pick this one because we were in Chicago, and I'm sorry for my Chicago friends that we didn't get a chance to hang out with because we were very busy and so sorry. But I did look up off color. Well, I looked up. I was like, I have no idea if this is close where I am, but I also don't have a rental car, and then also had no time. But in respect to Chicago of the recent late discussions, I'm gonna coffee dino s'more. I always love off colors. I've never had anything bad by off color. I love their like little mousy drawing guys. Like, they're just
Cute.
really cute.
Really cute.
But I haven't actually opened it yet. So I'm gonna open that and pour it, and it's probably gonna be great. And I love s'mores. And I am more of a tea versus a coffee person just in the morning. And like, please don't judge me. But I like coffee flavored other things. And I'm not opposed to it in beers, but I'm not a coffee drinker. Come for me. I'm sure that people have things to say. It's gonna be great.
Ooh, pretty pour.
Look at the color of the actual foam.
So good. Look at that. Like, this is like caramely goodness. I cannot wait.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? What is this? 9.5.
Right.
It was what Doug went little big, and I went like little big and also big.
That's what she said, but okay.
Okay, I'm gonna get another drink.
And on that note, tasty as I would expect, and also, I'm curious to see how this one goes in the sense of like coffee versus s'more, because they're like not opposing flavors, but it is like different parts of the flavor palette, if you will.
Yep. Espresso colored foam. That's exactly right. It's like that caramely color.
Mm-hmm. I get that off the bat. Oh, and like mallow on the end. Yep. Like immediately coffee for most of it. But it's so good. I was like,
I think it's funny that me in upstate New York sent you a beer from Chicago and you were in Chicago.
It's true. It worked out. I was like, I'm not mad at it. I don't always like, I feel like they're around, but like which ones you can get where is questionable.
It depends on
I'm into
distribution, and distribution is kind of weird for a lot of things. So yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen off color around, but like it's not like I've seen Dinos more like not the coffee one necessarily, and some other ones, but like it's not as consistent.
Oh man, we brought Maddie in and she was opening it up like.
Yeah.
The timing,
Thank
excellent.
you.
So I've
you
got
get-
my coffee Dinos more. What do you have? Another of the same?
Yeah, I bought a 4-pack of
Pack?
this. So that will be what I am drinking.
That is what are the percentages on High Noons? Less-ish.
I think they're pretty low. They're like
Is it pretty low?
4.5%. It's quite mild.
That's good. You're gonna be way more coherent than I assume.
I
Because you
love
also assume. Okay, maybe I shouldn't assume because ADHD vibes. Have you had dinner?
No.
Do you need a snack?
No, I'm fine. I had a very late lunch. I'm gonna have dinner after this, and it's gonna be like midnight. And I'm excited.
Wait, you're having dinner? You're on the East Coast.
Yes,
Shit.
that's accurate. Yes.
All right, I made Hawaiian chicken on the grill, and you guys are fucking doing like, hey, I'm having dinner at fucking midnight. That
I'm a night owl. I'm a creature.
I'm also a 9. Are you, Doug? You're more morning, aren't you?
I also want to give a shout out to Daniel.
noon is appropriate time to be in the woods.
Is
All
it
right,
not?
well-
I was like, is it safer? It sounds like night is the bad time. Is there any time to be in the woods? I don't need them. I'm just asking.
All right. Have you ever seen the movie Blair Witch Project, the original?
Oh,
Sort
yeah,
of.
of course. I'm sure it was
What do you
not.
mean, of course, sort of.
No, I mean, of course for me, of course not for you. If
Yeah,
you
that-
thought it was non-consensual, it was like in the background.
I
somewhere.
watched the beginning several minutes and then played chess with a friend behind the couch, so I didn't have to watch it.
That feels right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is found footage. That's one of the best found footage.
It was like one of the
horror movies.
original ones, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the thing was like, Maddie, I'm not sure how old you are, and I'm going to ask your age, but I remember like that thing had this buzz of like, you need to see this in a theater. And what
Yeah.
was great, it was before the internet, so it was something where like you had no fucking clue what you were walking into, and you walked in, you walked out like, holy shit, what was that? Like, there
Yeah,
was just
it was so scary.
Mhm.
And it felt like it didn't launch a genre, but it launched it into mainstream in a way that was very interesting. And then there was like a lot of
Manny.
different versions of
man.
that. I saw
Blair
it.
Witch?
I was like probably 13, maybe 12, 13, 14. I don't know. Something around there.
Middle school, high school times.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
and I remember that I did something like devious to secure tickets to see it because I wasn't allowed to buy them.
Of
And
course
so
we
I
did.
can't-
I watched it in at some friend's home with like
No,
a
yeah, I feel like I either like snuck in or had like a weird old stranger buy them for me. Something weird.
Back
You
in the
know?
days where you could do that shit.
Dude, for real. You could hey Mr. Anybody back in the day, you know. Now it's like
Like, no, don't talk to them.
But also, I just got more cautious. I probably shouldn't have done it back in the day. I was just reckless as hell.
That was one of the things where everybody's like, well, I'm just going to go watch this. And then you go and see it. And it's no different than being outside of a fucking 7-Eleven or something. Like, hey, can you go in and buy me some beer? And people are like, yeah, how much are you going to fucking pay me? Here's the beer is $15. Here's $20. Like, fucking bet. I go in and buy the shit and hand it off to you and walk out.
100%.
That would never happen today, ever.
No, not at all. Not at all. Also, you could be real janky with fake IDs back in the day.
Yep.
Like, like it could be just like your school picture on a playing card, and they're like, sure.
Yes, the same.
Yeah.
Yes, this thing that Zach says is so true. That like part of the whole spookiness of it was that it was in their contracts that the actors had to basically like not be in anything else. So there was this feeling that they may have died, right? Like there was
Like
that
ever?
Yes, for the time before
For like
it came out,
X number
like a
of.
year after it came out, there was just they weren't allowed to be in.
Because it was like,
and
this is like
they
a
were supposed
documentary,
to-
but not.
Yeah, they were supposed to just be like vanished, which like
I don't like
I like that they
I
did a
mean-
little like psychological manipulation of
Like, I
the whole
appreciate that,
world.
and like as a potential moviegoer, don't love that, but like that's a smart move.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want. I don't.
Yeah, it was fucked up. And like, honestly, like if you walked out, there's certain things that you could catch lightning in a bottle with before the internet that you
Yeah.
couldn't. Like the Sixth Sense was like that, where you just
Yes.
unless you
I
have a
did not like
neurodivergent
that.
wife who figured that shit out in 5 fucking minutes.
Well, the pattern recognition is real.
We really ruin shit for people. We really do.
I did not catch it. I did not like it. I saw it on theaters against my will. It was not great. My mom was the one who brought me.
Thanks, Mom.
She fell asleep.
She fell asleep during the
I
movie.
was like horrified watching this, and then was like couldn't sleep because I was like, it's cold. There's ghosts and dead people. I don't like this, and I didn't even want to see it in the first place. And it was yay character building.
What is this? I didn't realize this. They couldn't appear at the film festival it was
Yeah.
shown at.
Oh, like they couldn't be at any like premieres and shit.
Yes, because the whole thing was like, this was found footage. They may have died.
Holy
That's
fuck!
like really sucks for them. It is a little bit fucked up, but it's also like
It's a lot fucked up.
it's like a really. I mean, like it's fucked up in the sense of like actors and whatever, but also it's like as a like marketing movie experience, like hella smart, but like
Yeah.
really messed up.
Yes, it's very messed up. And I do think that they were
Daniel,
like
get out of
definitely
here.
exploited a little bit.
All right, can I? So finish your point about this about the Blair Witch Project, because I have something to say about the Sixth Sense.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think they were like definitely exploited, but I also think that like what an effective fear campaign. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
like
had
the
whole-
the experiential goal.
yes, the chokehold that movie had on society. I feel like it was
yeah,
I think if I remember correctly, there were people that were like, we should file police reports. Like they
Yeah.
might be missing. Like it was insane.
yeah.
Good stuff. Bad stuff, but good stuff too.
All right, so we're going to talk a bit about the Sixth Sense, and that there's a scene in that just completely fucks me up, and it's not the dead people part.
Okay.
Well, it is, but not. It's the part where the mom is having a funeral for her son, and she killed her son by feeding him chemicals to kill
Daughter.
him.
Daughter.
It's daughter. You're right.
Because it was wasn't it Christina Ricci or something like that?
No, it's the girl from the OC. What's her name?
I don't know. It's like, but it was
Misha
like the
Collins?
person under the bed.
Yeah.
It was under the bed.
Misha Collins.
The
Is that her name?
terrifying under the bed thing.
No, not
Yeah.
Misha. Misha Collins is in Supernatural.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
Misha Barton.
Oh,
Misha
yeah.
Barton. That's it.
Yeah.
But that part where she was like telling him, "My mom killed me," and and I was like, "That is the most fucked up part of that entire movie."
Yeah.
And
Well-
we see that it's called Munchausen syndrome or some shit, where like parents do fucked up stuff to their kids to make them sick so that they like get sympathy. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like
It's like
faking illness to get sympathy, sort of something.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment on this, but go Zach.
oh, all right. Hey, way to get that. in
Go
my-
Zach.
Hey.
There's nope. I got nothing.
The 90s, am I right? Anyway.
Yeah, I just remember being just so floored by the scene of that. And
Yeah.
Haley Joel Osment as a fucking kid acting the way he did in that movie was just ridiculous. Like,
Yes. I
yeah,
also feel like the scene where the dad confronts her is so upsetting. When
yeah,
he like, finally learns the truth and they're like at the wake. I like that movie is very haunting in like a multitude
A lot of ways.
right. It's
Like
not
the
just, like,
obvious way and the psychological way, and then the like sociological way.
yes.
whoa, whoa.
I love the craft so much. I love the craft so much.
I'm gonna ruin the craft for you right now.
No, I'm begging you not to. Please.
I'm not
I
gonna
know
ruin
of it
it.
as a thing, but I like don't know things.
I'm not gonna ruin it. It's just gonna be an anecdote for me and the craft.
Okay.
Okay.
The woman who I was dating when the craft came out wound up throwing knives at me when we were breaking up, and fucking one of them dinged my neck and damn near fucking killed me.
So she ruined the craft for you.
No, we fucked every time the craft was on. We put it on. That was like, put it on, we're having sex. And that was just like, okay.
Why? Not, I mean, like, not why, but why?
Here's
What?
the thing
Wait,
about the craft is that it was spooky and extremely horny, and there's no
I
getting
did not
Super
watch
horny.
the craft.
It was that was the era of like spooky horny, and that was the entire genre. And there are a few things that were in it, and they're all superb. And the craft is one of them. Also love Practical Magic. Slightly
No,
less horny.
Practical Magic is a hard pass.
Just
for me.
no.
I'm sorry. Nicole Kidman, Sandra Bullock, the aunts.
I'm going to give you a reason why Nicole Kidman is a no for that me, and I'm going to admit it is a fucked up reason.
Okay.
Anybody who smokes in movies or shows, I am out. I hate smoking.
I mean, me too. I mean, like, I'm not, but like,
It grosses me out, and also I have a kid who's allergic to smoke, cigarettes. So like, it's
So
just
like,
fucked up. I'm just out.
Okay. I mean, it's a
That's
niche
for
question,
me. That doesn't
but
for
it's-
me. Like, there's just not that thing for me on that. So
Zach.
I was like, this comment was up for far too long. I'm sorry, Zach. Yes, maybe always.
No. Hey, man. Listen, we're all adults. We've all had sex many times in our lives, hopefully, or maybe not if you're asexual, whatever. But like, hey, we've all had it. And I just think like just the idea of being like, well, hey, Zach, whatever, dude.
It's
Good
true,
on
but
you.
the amount of lore that we hear from Zach and Manny is it's a lot.
Yeah, I did. And fuck him. He was a terrible character in the X-Files. I fucking love that.
Yeah, he's an objectively bad human. So I think it's fine to not like cigarette smoking man. But the plot arc is flawless.
Great plot arc. Now I'm going to tell you, my wife loves the show Peaky Blinders. I can't watch it because of all the fucking smoking. It just grosses me the fuck out.
Oh, you like really just like nope.
Wow,
I really hate it.
You.
So listen, I can
because I feel like there's a lot of good classic smoking scenes that you probably can't indulge in. You know,
I will
It's
not
like
watch Mad Men.
like
I will not watch
specific.
I will
Yeah.
not watch Mad Men because of it. Because of all the fucking smoking. Fuck that. I don't want to see it. It just grosses me out.
The Wire, Sopranos, so much smoking in all those.
Let me say, you've also pointed out all organized crime shows.
Yes.
I fucking hate organized crime shows too. I fucking hate them.
Like, so kind of works for you.
Yeah, listen, Manny. I know it's not real smoking. I know they're smoking herbal cigarettes or whatever. It doesn't matter. It just fucking bugs me.
It's still not. You're not into it.
All right, I don't know what the fuck this is. The Agatha Harkness.
What's that? I'm deep. I am never the right person for.
Is it in the same vein as the Jack Harkness from?
It's a comic book.
Yeah, please explain that, Daniel, because I'm not sure what that is.
I know basically nothing about it except that I recognize it as a Marvel series. And I think I associate it with the color purple, but I don't know why. That might be totally wrong.
The color, like the color or like the movie?
The movie. That was my question.
No, fuck no. A Marvel color purple? That's so.
Well, what are you talking? I don't know any of these. You mean like the actual color violet? Like the color violet?
That is the funniest.
All right, Catherine Hahn's character from WandaVision. So Catherine Hahn is fucking awesome in everything she did. So yeah,
she's amazing.
She's great.
Sorry, I stop thinking about like a Marvel comic version of the color purple, which has got to be one of the most
worst ideas. One of the worst crossovers ever.
I just need to be clear. There's so much that I'm unclear on in terms of content.
It's
like,
so
what are you think?
Lauren, you've watched more Marvel movies than I have.
I went on an education adventure very specifically for that.
Well, because this is the thing about Lauren that I love so much is that, like, does she know the pop culture reference you're making? Probably
no.
But she is
going to go on a journey.
It's not even just that. She's so excited that you're excited about it. And like she's always like, "Oh, you're into it? Tell me everything. Let's do it. Let's make a plan." And so
I want to learn about it.
mwah, mwah, you know?
It's a lot. I mean, as a side event, oh God. Yeah, I tried to hang out with Zach, and he didn't hang out with me. We were in Los Angeles area.
Oh, well,
hang out with me.
back.
We will be back. See you in September sometime. Maybe I
Perhaps
didn't
we're
tell you
back.
this yet. But yeah, I'm if someone is so excited, like, oh my God, like it's not a force thing, but like when someone's so, I mean, it's a little bit good, maybe.
Good,
Man.
good motherfucker.
Good.
I'm going back to my Samuel Jackson mode. Good motherfucker.
I just like, I feel like if someone's so excited about something, I'm just like, oh, like not that I have to be, but I'm just like, let me see what it's about. And so that is how I ended up with a little bit how I ended up with Marvel, was because like it was just like too pop culture. I was like, it's everywhere. There's so many movies. Like I need to watch some of it. I can't necessarily commit to all of it. I have now watched all of them. Not all. I have been bad at the
Most of
recent
them.
releases. Many of them. Like all the legit Endgame movies, and then some of the ones after and whatnot.
Bullshit, Zach. That's fucking
I
great.
don't. It's great. It's fine. They should. But also this
Absolutely.
is how, so like Marvel happened that way. This is also how Maddie politely bullied me into watching Vanderpump Rules, and I like binged 11 seasons in too short of amount of a time.
What?
I want to be so clear.
Oh, do you?
Okay, here's the thing. When I say that I consume information, consume things compulsively, I want to see, like the full spectrum of things. So like, am I reading like hardcore data science right now?
Like,
yes.
Like scientific journals.
Yes, but I am also consuming a lot of the Bravo cinematic universe, including your Real Housewives, your Vanderpump's Rules, your various spin-offs, Summer House,
other culture-focused things.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, it's like podcasts, books, articles, TV series, movies. It's all of the content.
But I will stand by this. Vanderpump Rules is high art. You will never convince me otherwise. Not season 9. Those are
fascinating. But it's like, how is this even?
It's fascinating.
I did watch it. I watched too much in too short of a period.
Yeah, I fear what has happened to your brain developmentally for consuming that much Bravo in such a short period of time. But
it is the like sound. It's the sound thing that Ariana was talking about. It's like I was like watching as I was doing stuff that I didn't have to like use words for.
Exactly. Well, and you don't really need to focus on that. It's going to happen to you whether or not you're focusing.
It's
I do also want to say that little known support thing you can do for people if they're going through a hard time is consume their like weird TV show that they're into and then text them about it.
Unless it's the fucking Office, because fuck that fucking show.
That's aggressive.
You come in so hot tonight. So hot.
That show is the worst fucking show that everybody loves, and I don't care what anybody says to me about that. I really don't.
Oh my God. Okay, so sometimes Lauren and I will be running a workshop and we'll ask people, what is your most controversial, least consequential opinion?
Least consequential.
Right. So like
beer.
That's mine. That's mine.
That's definitely yours, because really, like, you don't want people coming in and being like, women don't need rights, because like that's not what we're talking about.
That's the wrong thing we're talking about.
Least controversial.
Right. Least consequential. So yours is that The Office is trash?
Yes.
Okay.
A million times yes.
That is a like you against the world, man.
I don't give a fuck. Come at me, because that show fucking blows.
I have so many questions. I was like, what are the ones that are not, that don't, where's the rest of it lie?
All right, so I'm gonna preface this by saying that like comedy shows are a hard sell for me.
Yes.
Oh, love a good comedy. It's so easy to watch.
I want to be engaged, and there has to be. Here's a problem with comedy shows. There's very few of them. I'm in. Bob's Burgers.
Good.
And I think it's largely animated things, like Bob's Burgers. Oh, what? All right,
That's
listen,
it. That's the only
Zach,
one.
Zach, I can't even fucking post that shit. Because,
Silence right now.
I need to go to the comments. I looked
all
away.
right, well, I'm going to show it. Here we go.
Oh no. Is this because Game of Thrones?
By the way, Game of Thrones ended on a terrible note. House of the Dragon is better than Game of Thrones for the first 2 fucking seasons so far. It's really superb. But if I'm going to watch a show, I want something with some things that make me think.
Mhm.
Comedy shows are rarely like that.
So you said Bob's Burgers. Can you think of a non-animated comedy show that you're really into?
Like okay with?
Yeah.
Um,
Not okay with. Fucking into. I want something that you're like, yeah, this is good.
That's fair. I was trying to lower the bar to see if
No,
there was
don't
an
lower
entry
the
point.
bar. Extreme hard.
Schitt's Creek is the only one that comes to mind.
Ah,
So
ah,
good.
But there's another one, but it's not technically a full comedy show because there's some really serious shit in it, and it's Grace and
sure.
Frankie.
Okay.
Oh, hard agree.
Oh, also
Hard agree.
solid.
And I will say that some of the best comedies out there are actually just funny tragedies. And
Yes.
you know, like
Light-hearted. I
Yeah.
haven't watched a lot of that.
Oh, BoJack Horseman.
Is that the new
so
Yes.
VTR for me?
Yes, yes, Manny, fuck off with The Office. I'll watch Bob Burgers because that's 5 times funnier than The Office ever will
How?
be.
Okay. Do you?
Sorry
Okay.
about it.
I
In
feel
the
like The
morning.
Office. I feel like The Office and Parks and Rec have very, like, one after the other vibes. Have you watched Parks and Rec?
Parks and Rec is very hit or miss. I like Ron Swanson's goofiness because Nick Offerman is just a fucking gem. That motherfucker is great in everything he's
I
in.
feel like that is actually him mostly. Also,
Well, did you see the episode of him of Last of Us?
No, I have not watched
That
it.
will break your fucking heart. It
I
is.
can't deal with
It's a-
that.
It is a beautiful episode talking about someone who who wouldn't come out as gay and realizing they are gay and finding love and the apocalypse, the fucking apocalypse. And he finds love. And it is just a gorgeous fucking
That's so
episode of a
touching.
show.
Did you watch Community?
I saw someone comment that. Love
Sorry,
Community.
have it in the morning. So good.
All right. Here's the thing. Game of Thrones did make you think in a lot of ways, especially with the certain characters when you talk to Varys and Littlefinger and Tyrion. Those motherfuckers were playing a straight weird game and seeing the big picture. So yeah, that show made me think in a lot of ways.
Yes. Also, but in like the first several seasons, that's why the last season was so disappointing, is because they built up not just complicated characters, but complicated plots. And then their answer to finishing it quickly was just like burn it to the fucking ground. And like, that's a cop out. And it's a cop out for characters too. I did not appreciate it. Don't make me fall in love with you and then turn into a psychopathic murderer. That does nothing for me.
Yeah. And you're right.
I will say
Daniel.
I feel like
Oh,
Game of Thrones was one where it's like, it was like, I don't know, were there 7, 8? I don't know how many seasons.
8 seasons.
So I feel like it was like 6 or 7 seasons in, and I had not watched it. And people were like, the next season's coming out. You just watch them all. I was like, that is too many to try to like catch up. And I just like, I'm generally behind in much of pop culture. So I need like to be paced a little bit because clearly I binge watch things, but it depends on the level. But like I never committed because it was like too far in by the time that I was told to watch it.
You're not wrong, Zach. You are not wrong.
Yeah, that was the season finale of the first season.
Yep. I also feel like there's too much incest in those series. They're really trying to.
I didn't even watch it, but I feel like I know that already. I feel like I heard about or saw an episode and was like, what is happening?
Incest. That's what's happening.
A lot of it,
that fine?
and
Is that just fine
there were certain families. The Targaryens were one, and the Lannisters were another, where incest was keeping the bloodline pure.
And here's the thing:
Gross.
that's not totally baseless, because if you look at the royalty in Europe, that Habsburg,
they thought a lot of that shit.
that
mean,
didn't come
sure,
from
but also
nowhere, you know? Yeah, real gross, real gross. Also, Queen Elizabeth, the one who just died, Her husband was like her second or third cousin. We were just fine with that, apparently.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is, in House of the Dragon, two of the major characters are a niece and uncle, and they get married.
See? Yep.
And
Yeah.
they have kids. And it's fucking gross on that end. But because you understand the concept of how that world works,
Yeah.
it's fucked up because it's circular logic. You're just like, this is super gross. But at the same time, you get it because it makes sense in the context of the world that they're talking in.
Sure.
It's fucking gross.
George R. Martin just has an incest kink and is trying to normalize it in his books.
Yeah, he does.
I feel like that really happens with authors sometimes, where it's just like, what are you communicating by what you're writing here?
It's
Sir,
like,
generally, sir.
absolutely. It's Quentin Tarantino has a foot thing, and you can definitely tell from his movies.
Oh, Zach is trying to tag people. We're learning the new platforms of streaming, folks. We're all in this together.
Doing great, y'all.
Yeah, this sounds like Trump and his daughter.
Oh, why? Ugh.
That's gross.
Gross.
But the vibes are
And like New England.
I mean, yeah, outdated, antiquated. Can we get rid of this?
It's called Alabama now. Thanks, Manny.
He's not wrong.
No, not wrong. All right.
That
So,
part of the South is they're wide-eyed, if you know what I mean.
all right. So, Maddie, I'm going to ask you a question. What is your current deep dive? What is the thing that
Choose
you go?
one.
Choose
Okay.
one right now.
Okay.
You might have 5. Just pick the one that you're
Nope,
currently.
I'm going to tell you the most
She's
disturbing
too
one.
Ready.
I'm
The
so
most disturbing. Can I be here for it? Is it fine?
It's fine, Lauren. It's not the
Okay.
kind of disturbing. It's not spooky disturbing. It's
Great.
existential disturbing.
Also problems, but let's go.
Yeah, don't tell Jake. Anyway, so basically, the Nobel Prize was recently awarded to a scientist who proved that the universe is not locally real. And what that means, essentially, is that so realness, it has to do with whether or not something exists outside perception. So an apple is red whether or not our eyeballs are there to see that it's red. And localness has to do with the ways in which molecules can interact with each other. Basically, that like things that are local to each other can interact with each other. And basically what he proved through a series of experiments having to do with quantum entanglement is that we can no longer prove and say definitively that the universe is locally real, which is like a little bit further step in the direction of like, perhaps this is all an elaborate simulation. Because we, like, he's basically saying like, oh yeah, nothing means anything. Like, we don't know shit about the world. Molecules can affect each other from eons away. It used to be the stance was that like molecules can't interact with each other faster than the speed of light. And now they're just like, no, that's not true anymore. And also, we don't know that that apple is red if you're not looking at it, which is
Okay. The apple is not red. I mean, okay. I feel like Zach just
That
said a thing.
motherfucker's not real.
yeah,
Like,
that
it's like if my
motherfucker is
eyes are
not real.
closed. Wait, so if nothing's if your eyes are closed and you're sleeping, like nothing's real. Just everything's false.
It's not that nothing is real. It's that we cannot prove it is real. And like, that's basically what they're saying is that like, we cannot say that something exists outside of our observation of it. And we also cannot say that molecules are only interacting on a local level. Like essentially, like there's dimensional things happening, there's quantum entanglement, there is butterfly effect, right? And basically like the Nobel Prize was like, hey guys, reality doesn't exist. So that's my current deep dive. It's there is no
real matrixy.
It's literally
real
that.
matrix vibe.
It is literally that. So enjoy
Love
that. Yeah. I already was bending towards nihilism with a taste of hedonism, and it's just getting worse, frankly.
Oh, so hedonism. Holy shit.
Oh, I mean, yeah. What are we
Well,
not here?
why not? Why not? If you believe in nihilism, why not believe in hedonism at the same point? Like,
Exactly.
hey,
Like,
if you have a certain time span that you're here and you know that's what you have, then why the fuck not just fucking indulge to the point that like
Enjoy
Yeah.
yourself.
well, there's also the point of like, okay, well, I'm gonna indulge, but you also like I agree with that in a lot of sense. My point is, does that negatively affect someone else, or does that negatively affect myself? And if
yeah.
it doesn't, then fucking have at it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like you have to be super cognizant of your impact, but also it is totally valid to make choices based on pleasure alone, right? Like, I think that that is a reasonable worldview. I think that it could be dangerous if everybody did that all the time. Or not even dangerous, wildly unproductive and sticky. But like, it just feels like, in this world, like if you're here for pleasure, like to me, that's fine. Enjoy your fucking life,
Yeah. Also, I'd like to state for the record that I don't think cilantro tastes like soap. I love cilantro. It's fucking delicious.
I will say, I feel like Zach makes a lot of statements for you. So thank you for clarifying.
That's because he and I are in an intimate cosmic relationship. So there's that.
Is it real or not real? Locally, the molecules exist or not?
And Zach is not wrong. This is
Yeah.
a thing that this is a human thing where you just go, all right, we're all collectively experiencing what is the amalgam of like, all right, some people think this, some people think this. And you just take the populist approach.
I mean, okay, that's true. This Maddie's deep dive makes my brain hurt. And also it makes me think of like thing where it's just like the idea, this is tangentially really related, I guess. Also, I've had too many beverages and not enough food. So sorry if my words start to not be words. Okay, I say the sky is blue and Maddie says the sky is blue and so do you, Doug. But like what we are seeing might be totally different colors. We just happen to call it the same color name. And it's just like this weird, like that's just like what it is on average. But like we don't actually know that it's the same. Like I could be experiencing something completely different as you. We just call it the same shit, so it's fine. Which I don't. This feels like high thoughts.
Are we not high? No, just me. Oh, okay. No.
Okay. I mean, I've had several, not high.
Kidding. I do think that that's right though, that like it is a collective perception exercise. Like that's what reality is. And then we decide, and the like norms shift based off of what we're vibing. And also we like convince ourselves that we know stuff, right? We're like so certain. Every time new science comes out, we're like, this is it. This is the end all be all. And then in 2 years, they're like, wait, never mind. We were wrong.
Wait, that's actually bad for you, not good for you.
Yes. Every diet thing you hear of, like 4 years later, they're like, oh shit.
Actually, we were completely wrong.
Eggs are terrible.
Okay,
no, eggs are great.
Do whatever you want.
Terrible.
Nothing matters. Hedonism, nihilism, just do the things.
And this is why hedonism, valid choice.
Yeah, just
do. None of this is real. I mean, not to be the guy in the Matrix who's like, I choose the steak and the chick in the red dress, but I do get it. I do.
Yeah, there's a useful oblivion to that sort of that, like where you're just like, all right, I really don't want to think that much about things. And what's funny is Joey Pants in that fucking movie is like, I don't want to remember anything. I don't want to remember anything. Maybe somebody important like an actor, which was one of the fucking. And the best part of that scene is something people don't realize, and I picked it up the very last time I watched it, was his name was Reagan.
Feels right. Feels so right.
Wait, what? Someone explain things to me.
Reagan was an actor.
Ronald Reagan was an actor, and Ronald Reagan was the single worst president we've ever had.
Yes.
Even more than Trump.
Yes.
I'm talking worse. He fucked up things for fucking 50 fucking years. He is the impetus for all the shit we're seeing now. All the stuff you think is terrible, it's because of him. And that was fucking 40, 50 years ago in the 80s.
Yep.
And
I-
just
every-
the idea that Joey Pance's character's last name was Reagan is like, make me an actor, somebody important.
Yep. Perfect.
That whole movie is an allegory for fucking trans people because both
Yes.
the directors were trans, but they weren't out as trans at that point. The
Yeah.
whole movie, The Matrix, the first one, is all about being trans.
Yeah.
And what is great about that, it was interesting, is all these fucking red, white, right-wing knuckleheads being like, give me the red pill. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're idiots.
Yeah, you can't handle the red pill, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I feel like that whole movie was like an exercise in like critical identity analysis, right? Like what makes up a person. And people mix it. And it's the same
All right,
way.
Manny.
Dig in.
It's the same way that the Boys on Amazon.
I
Okay.
haven't watched, but I hear great things.
Well, there's like this thing that's happening where like a bunch of people who are crazy right wing had been watching it and had been rooting for this guy, and then like the whole time Homelander has been this like overt fucking fascist, and then all of a sudden they caught on. They're like, wait, he's not the hero, he's the bad guy, and it's like, yeah, fascism is bad, guys.
He's been a bad guy from the first fucking season. Like, and we're in season 4, and they're just fucking clueless that he's the bad guy.
Literally, and that you can just find like Twitter and Reddit threads where it's like, wait, is that bad? And it's like, yes, that is bad. You need to work on your critical media analysis.
That is an interesting thing to be like. All right, so from a neurodivergent perspective, the idea of being like critical media analysis, like that's sort of a hot term at the moment, and just understanding that like critical media analysis means like, hey, I'm able to fucking take in what you're saying, but I'm going to actually analyze what you're saying. I'm not just going to take it verbatim.
Like for face value, yeah.
And it's fucking goddamn just it's straight up a thing people need to do. Media literacy is just a really important thing. So I'm going to give you an example. So like the debate last night, Biden's an 80-year-old fucking man. Trump's a 78-year-old man. He's not a young guy. The problem is there's two different people, and they're two different old guys. One guy is the old guy that rants at the mall that fucking shit sucks, and you need to fucking vote conservative because fuck these people because I'm old and fucking crusty. And then Biden's like, I'm really fucking tired.
Yeah.
I want to go and just fucking watch shit and just enjoy my last few years of existence.
Yes.
The problem is like as a president, which we can get a whole bunch of shit about who should be president, but I'd vote for the fucking guy who's a little old and crusty who actually wants to help people versus the guy that wants to make everything fucking terrible for anybody that doesn't look like him or is it rich.
Yeah, it sucks because it's like both of these people are terrible. To Daniel's point, two old white guys, and like so old, so fucking old, and like so crusty and terrible. And so I'm basically in the position of like, well, which side has fewer overt Nazis? And so then that's who I end up voting for. Where I'm like,
terrible barrier for like, you're like, is
sure.
this the deciding factor we're at?
That's the bar. It's literally like, oh, this like crowd has swastika flags. Yeah. I can't get on board with that, y'all. Like, come on.
I mean, it's valid, right?
Right. And it's like, it's a low bar. It's a very low bar, but it's a bar, you know?
True. I don't remember how we got here. It feels very.
I don't know. Doug dragged us here and then left. He just.
It's true. I was like, I don't love the topic. It's fair and valid, but I was like, I didn't want to be. How do we get out of this?
I don't know. I feel like he Blair Witched us. He like brought us into a terrible ideological woods and then abandoned us.
That's true. And then we can appear in no other live streams.
We're like, shake. What's happening?
Oh, I mean, I do appreciate that was like early 4D experience, right? It was like,
sure.
Look, you're part of this.
Yeah. I remember the first time I saw that being like, I like this movie and it's really scary, but also like, I feel car sick.
I didn't watch enough to like have anything happen. I was like, Nope, this is too scary. I'm out. That's many scary things for me. I try. I mean, I don't try that hard. I am open, but also have a strong boundary for scary because I will not sleep.
Well, to loop it back around, I suggest you don't watch the presidential debate because that was fucking scary.
That's fair.
It was scary.
I saw the first like few minutes where I'm like, there's like, here's the setup, and they said words, and I was like, I can't listen to this.
I was literally like, nothing good can come of this. Which is
I don't remember what I did instead. What did you do? Were you watching it, and then did you do something? What did you choose to do instead? This is a danger question.
Last night, I think we were probably watching something. We've been watching these, I've told you, these Korean dating shows.
Yes, I've another content that I've been told to watch. Yeah. Again, I'm so bad at content. There's so much. And when someone feels passionately about one, I'm like, oh, maybe it's where they all go. So Maddie tells me many things to watch, and I talk to her a lot. So this is where we're at. So I might be watching some Korean love game show soon.
I think I'm a dangerous person for you to be like, when someone feels passionately about it, because it's like, as I feel passionately about everything.
It's true. It's a problem, but it's fine.
But if you're looking for something that goes down really smooth and is dubbed, so you don't have to read subtitles, so you can listen to it, I do recommend the Korean dating show Singles Inferno, the hottest inferno in the world, as they call it.
Is that the tagline?
Yes, Singles Inferno, the hottest inferno in the world. And it is so good. It's so like strange and superficial the way that everything is set up. But I really like watching it because I find societal norms around romance in different countries super interesting. So it's very interesting
to like unpack the understandings of culture.
We ran away from politics, Doug, because we couldn't do it anymore.
We went in and then it was too much more like, we need to talk about something else. What'd you watch instead of the president?
Yeah, we got spooked.
I did try. I tried to watch it for like a few minutes and we're like, no, I cannot. I think that, again, with my being super behind on content and catching up in deep ways, I tried to watch the presidential debate and we're like, nope. And then watch Suits instead because I've never watched it before until now. And I think we're on season 7. Like, we're so close. Also, it's like it's so not good, but I'm watching it. Like, I need to finish. We're so close. It's season 8. We're on season 7.
Okay.
But that's what I did instead of the president. I tried to watch the presidential debate for a while and then no.
Just hold on to the fact that you're supporting Meghan Markle and that she is getting residuals when you watch that.
That's fair.
So, Suits is exactly the kind of show that goes down easy, but also existed in an era where something used to come out once a week. When you watch them back to back, you really see how formulaic it all is. And
it's like weird because it's formulaic, and also you're like, okay, what 7-12 leaps did you just make in like 2 seconds? And there's no way. And like, this is so. It's a lot of like suspending of reality, which is fine. Also, I was like, I don't know lawyer things, so it's fine. I just accept a lot of what's happening.
Here's the thing, Lauren, they don't know lawyer things either.
That's fair.
But apparently there's a brand new season spinoff because the Super Bowl told me so.
Yeah. All right.
No?
So
you know that? There's a thing. Maddie's face made a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one. Yes. Yeah. Hi, Doug. Yeah. What's up?
Yeah. So anyway, I started watching House of the Dragon. We're two episodes in. I'm also finishing up Dark Matter, which is a sci-fi thing where basically it's on Apple Plus, which there's 2 streaming services that I will say are the fucking have the best accumulation of shows, and it's HBO Max and Max now, whatever.
Max.
Yeah, which is a dumb rebranding. Wow. Apple Plus just makes fucking crazy good content, and people don't realize it. Like, Dark Matter is this fucking sci-fi thing where this guy creates a box that makes superposition. So it's just like Schrodinger's cat. You know the Schrodinger's cat thing where like
alive, not alive.
Not alive, is it alive? Like, but it's in a
like there's a moment where it's both until you open the box.
Yeah. So basically it's a superposition where you don't realize what it is. So he creates a box where people are in superposition so they can travel between different alternative realities.
Oh, that's the
Oh
dream.
no! Oh
I'm
no!
so into it.
It's not the dream, Maddie, because a lot of the alternate realities fucking suck.
I mean,
Well,
I
as
believe
long as
that.
you can do just like a pop in, pop out. If you get stuck there, I got problems, you know?
Yeah,
That's
so
true. Like, how much choice do you have in this?
Yeah.
you go in and you're just like, yeah, I
Wait,
don't
what
know.
is that called? Dark Matter? I feel like I've heard of this. Have we talked about this before?
It's a novel by Blake Crouch.
Okay.
So it's called by Christine P.O. Maxwell. Whatever. It's that. So there's
Official.
that. There's a lot of different things I'd love to watch, and
I'm deeply behind, and there's so much I haven't watched. Classic movies, current pop, everything. Like I'm behind, so give me some grace. But like I'm open to suggestions because there's too much.
here's the thing: classic movies, I'm hard out.
Oh, hard out. Okay, why? What's your? Give me your like
I
5
love
sentence
that
reasoning.
take, Doug. I love it.
I love a boundary. Tell me why.
I love people who feel strongly. I love it.
Just
so
generally,
Here's the
for
thing.
against whatever. Tell me why.
A few things. One, it's rarely applicable to today, like rarely applicable to today, and even '80s movies, which I'm an '80s child. Like you watch something like Weird Science, which I fucking love.
Science.
That movie is fucking. You can't do that today because it's misogynistic as fuck. It's
I
terrible.
rewatched Rush Hour recently, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Oh, no.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah,
But also, part of me was like, "Oh, I remember this from childhood times." But I was like, "Also, this is bad."
Like
yeah.
there's things like I was trying to watch like the Eddie Murphy stand-up specials. And there's a whole special where he was talking about gay people. Hey, I can hang out with a gay person, but they're like, I'm gonna go suck some dick. I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna go over here. Fuck you. And there's just some really homophobic shit.
Yeah.
Things like that. And it's really hard to watch old shit. Now, here's the thing, like also there's part of it, if anything that's in from like basically the 70s back. The acting is terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's
We've come a long way.
But here's the problem. I'm also that way with music. I'm that way with a lot of things. When it's older, like it's rare that I'm be like, yeah, cool.
I need to know how far back you go in music.
Like, what is your acceptable
70s,
music?
70s. I don't
Is
go
there
any
a
farther
gap
back.
and then also older, or just like nope?
70s and maybe a little bit of 60s, maybe. But anything in the 50s and 40s, fuck that. That shit's all because here's my problem. I look at that stuff and go, all that shit was in a super racist. I can't
look at it. The beyond.
Oh, it was stolen from Black people.
Yes.
Like everything Elvis did, stolen from Black people.
Yeah.
Rock and roll was invented by a Black woman. She never gets noted for sure. But like, what about like classical music?
Yeah.
Like, how do we feel about a Johann Sebastian Bach?
No, that I dig. This is the one. This is the one I'm talking about. Was Eddie Murphy Raw? That was fucking like. At the time, that was cutting edge and fucking great. But now I look at him like, ooh, Jesus Christ! Like, no. Yeah, I just it's
that's true.
Like classical music. Classical music is classical in a sense. It's like jazz. There's certain things that I just go, okay, well, I get. Miles Davis was fucking great. I love all that
Etta
stuff.
James, Ella Fitzgerald vibes.
Yes.
Yes.
So there's like a good, and then there's like a gap, and then there's like a modern.
Yeah, it's just something where it's just, I don't know. I have real struggles with the idea of looking at something that was inherently just racist and just being like, yeah, well, I like that. I have the same thing with like, if I'm looking at someone like Kevin Spacey. Great actor, terrible human.
Yeah,
I can't.
How do you feel?
Watch.
Okay, how do you feel about separating like the art and artist vibe?
I struggle. Maddie, how about you?
Yeah, for me, it's like a lot of it has to do again around intention and impact. So, like, is this person still benefiting from my attention on them?
Fair,
because that makes
I don't want to give them.
Yeah, I don't want to line their pockets. And truthfully, as like in a media world that like the thing we're giving as like the barometer of success is attention. And so like, and I feel that way about a lot of people. Like, I don't know why people are down with Woody Allen. That man is a fucking creep. And like, yeah, I get it. He's funny. And I really, at times in my life, I was like, Annie Hall, it's a classic. But then you learn about him being a predator and it just ruins all the humor for me. And I don't want to give him money. And I really don't like the amount of times that we're just like, yeah, he's a creepy old perv, but whatever. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Doug. I'm with you. I think it's really hard. I also think it's super hard because sometimes we fall in love with pieces of media before we know
more.
The full extent of who they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Because sometimes, especially nowadays, things happen so quickly
yes.
that like you're like, oh my god, amazing. And you're like, oh my god, all of their past and who they are as a human.
Right.
That
And
doesn't
like,
happen as quickly.
and it's so tough because like you can feel a profound impact from a piece of media before you understand or know anything or have the context. And like my favorite books as a young person and into the older years of my life is Speaker for the Dead is my favorite book, which is the second book in the Ender's Game series. And Orson Scott Card is a fucking fascist now.
That motherfucker is a fucking terrible human being.
He sucks now. He fucking sucks now. He's the worst. And like that sucks so much because Speaker for the Dead is such a beautiful book.
Ender's Game and all that stuff. He was a great writer. He's a terrible human being.
And that book was so grounded in like emotion and not just like geopolitical space travel. And like which I also loved because I'm a nerd. But it's a bummer because like I loved that book. It's very hard for me. I own one copy. I read that copy. I never line his pockets, but I love that book. I just do.
Well, same thing with J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter. Yeah. Like Harry Potter was like groundbreaking, but when you kind of look back and see how fucking racist the books were, and you just don't realize it, and the point of where it was, because she wrote a thing that seemed very adaptable and like accessible to people of a certain age, and now she's a TERF. She's a trans. She's the worst fucking person,
dude. It sucks so much. And what's crazy is like she could have just said nothing.
She could have been like, just shut her fucking mouth
to say things out loud too.
Yeah, I'm like, babe, have your terrible opinions, but have you tried silence? That's a great option for you. Because
you would have made so much more money.
You would have made more.
I would love for you to not have those opinions, but if you're gonna have those opinions, like you're on like the goal to just be like, hey everybody.
Yeah. Also, like, I can't imagine having so much of the world's attention and then choosing to go after one of the world's most marginalized populations. Mm-hmm. Like the idea that you have a microphone that large and you're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go after people that are harmed by every other system in society. Like what?
Yeah, I don't love that. It's because like, again, what it was and the, like, I don't even want to say framework feels so official, but like the people, like, what house are you in? Like, have you been sorted? Like, so like it's like it has reference points, but I'm like, ugh, gross. Ugh.
Yeah, it sucks. I feel like a lot of people found strength in that, and especially a lot of people in the LGBTQIA community found strength in that, which is why this particular like betrayal is so sour. It's like, oh, you did that? Damn it.
But the thing is you go and just go, okay, well, we can't support that person. And then you just try to, there's a million other, like, I follow a lot of authors on a lot of different media because I'm a writer myself and I'm trying really hard and really failing spectacularly to try to get published. But the idea of having folks who are like, I don't really like this. And I'm going to give you a prime example. Chuck Wendig, who's someone I really admire. I met him personally. He's a really great guy.
Yeah, he was doing something on the street. Check it out.
We had him on, and we're trying to get him on another stream another time, but it's been challenging because he's a super busy guy. Unfortunately, he just contracted COVID when he was in fucking Portugal. But anyway, so it's something where trying to follow folks who are aligning with your beliefs.
It's hard.
In the author world, it's hard, but it's not. You can find people who like most authors are very staunch about This is my stance on a lot of things. Here we are. Are you here? No. Go fucking this way and leave me alone. Like
Mhm.
authors are fucking really straightforward about like the real authors that I follow are very much against AI. They're against like a lot of fascism. Like it's really impressive to see folks who are creative to be like, fuck this. And just you follow those folks and they're just like, I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. And it's sad to things like Orson Scott Card, who like wrote some really great books. There's certain people, if they wrote and we found out they were really shitty people, it would break my heart. Wendig's one of them. Stephen King's another. Like Stephen,
Yeah.
it's just people that I really admire. And if they turned into shit people, I just wouldn't read their stuff. I just
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I also think like there has to be room for the people who create media to be real people, right? Like I think there are things to be critical of Stephen King about, but they're not things like, oh, you like pursue children, you know, like they're within the realm of acceptable flaws of humanity. And that's fine. And I don't like it when it feels like we pick people apart where it's like on such a level where it's like, no, people have to be allowed to be like a little bit flawed, but they can't be the like actively harmful to huge swaths of people flawed.
Yeah.
And that's the part where it's like, oh, you're like a virulent transphobe. So no, you can't have that microphone anymore. Sorry. Yeah. It's tough out there, man. A lot of crazies.
It's true. Also, even like beyond like authorship, but like then like any level of like celebrity, right? Like in movies, TV, music, where you're like, God, I hope they're a good person because I really like their shit. Like, it's so challenging.
If somebody came out with some horrifying news about like Weird Al or Jack Black, I would lose my mind. I would cry.
They seem so nice and good and generally positive.
So those are the worst people for you to find out that they're shit people?
Oh, that would upset me so.
Also, because they seem so like genuine. Both of those people, Jack Black and Weird Al, feel like genuinely joyful, like fine, like they're not. It's not actively harmful, but like if you're like, oh, they're like a fucking dick in the real world, you're like, no, they were like the last hope of the celebrity.
Yeah, and there's some people for whom I'm like, no, you being a dick makes sense, you know?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and like Mariah Carey, they're like, she's such a diva, and I was like, yeah, yes,
that makes sense.
Have you heard her or looked at her? I mean, let's be honest. Like
Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez is a
right. Like we knew what we were getting here. But if the ones that seem really like humble and down to earth turn out to be terrible, I'm like, I can't lose another one.
You were the last hope.
All right. I don't know who Shomo's videos are, but we'll have to look at that.
What is that?
Please don't make that being Weird Al being a shitty person, Daniel.
I literally cannot.
Hopefully it's fine.
It's been a very long week.
Please give us a heads up. Also, maybe a link. We'll go look later.
I totally believe this.
Yes. I also remember her episode of MTV Cribs.
Yes.
Started with her in a bathtub. And I was
was it a bubble bath?
Yes, like what's happening, girl? Why are you fully nude?
I mean, that was also potentially more in her heyday moment, right? Like not quite exactly, but just after maybe.
Oh, I love that for her.
It feels correct.
She's great.
I think the person that would decimate me the most if they turned out to be shitty human being would be David Tennant.
Oh my God, I would die. The Doctor, kill me. Oh.
He is such a proponent of trans right and LGBTQ rights, and if he turned out to be a shitty human, that would just wreck me.
You're like, no, but you were doing so much good stuff.
Yeah, like that would my heart would break a little. Oh, that would kill me.
Yeah. All right, so
yes.
Go ahead. Straight up.
Oh, there's a link. I'm gonna find that later. Okay, I'm gonna click on it. I'm gonna stay focused currently. Maddie will not. It's fine. Just make sure it's muted.
What are we going to say, Maddie?
I'm saying nothing. I'm not getting distracted by this link.
Also, I'm going to ask you a question. How do you pronounce that name?
Like, what is the, wait, Why didn't you go back to the chat? What is happening? What is that? What does that mean?
That's a new doctor. That's the first.
Oh,
first name.
I don't.
Oh,
the-
he's said.
Yeah, it's the guy. I don't know how to say it correctly, but I was like, I recognize
do.
the guy.
I
You
do
do?
because he didn't know until he was 26.
Yeah, he talked about it. I saw that clip, but I don't remember. Tell us.
It's Niscuti.
Miss Cutie. That's a really nice.
Because he said it. The clip I saw was something else like, oh, it's like a shooting star shooty, but not because he was wrong because his mom shamed him.
That's sad, but I love that his name has cutie in it. It's nice.
Yes, I'm not good at doctor. That is one of the many realms that I have not dove into because also doctor. There's too much.
There's a lot there.
But I did see that clip.
The new stuff. If you wanted to start with something that's a little more manageable, but even that is many, many seasons deep.
Yeah.
Yes. And people are deeply invested.
I have so many thoughts.
Right, but
for another time.
We're damn near 3 hours in, so we need to kind of wrap.
Oh my god! I just love talking with
people.
So I want to say, first of all, thanks to Lauren and Maddie and Ari for joining us. Let's do this bit here. Maddie, you have one thing, so go ahead.
Okay. High Noon, passion fruit flavor, vodka seltzer. I would say it's like for a alcoholic beverage, I would say it's like a 7 out of 10. For a specifically seltzer drink, I would say it's like a 9 out of 10. I really appreciate High Noons, and I'm quite susceptible to hangovers now because I am old, apparently. I don't know. I hate it.
Boo.
Anyway, but for some reason, High Noons never give me hangovers. So that's amazing.
I have no idea what Zach's saying here, so we'll just leave it
be. I feel like really like, okay, Zach, lay it on me. What am I supposed to listen to?
Yeah. All right, Lauren, what do you have?
I forgot. I pulled the cans from the other place that I was knocking over. All of the things, they were all Doug shares, which is lovely and so good. I'm so glad you shared them with me. Thank you so much. Generally, anyway. In terms of I feel I'm confused. Okay, I'm gonna go. So we had Wham Whams, which was like solid and very much my flavor generally, but also I think because of the timing that we started, I may have liked this Stoneyard Gremlin can vibe. I don't know, Maddie, if you saw this, then there's like Grease Lightning. That's why we're talking about Grease. There's like the cute version and then the like aggressive version. This one I really enjoyed for its dark but flavor, but also drinkable while in like not quite as heavy for warmer weather because summer. This was also like very good because some porters I feel like are like too light. Maybe I'm too into the barrel aged. But like that one, and then Dino S'mores. It's so I was like, I love a s'more and the mallow finish and like the cute little mousy guys. I cannot deny. All of them were great though. Doug, you also had at least 3. Where were you at?
Oh, I had 4. So,
4. I don't remember. I've forgotten. Tell us about them.
Yeah, so this was Furiosa. It was a coffee stout. I'm going to say every beer I had was great. So
yeah.
I don't have something that was like meh. So this was good. This is basically a coffee stout from North Brewery. It was a short pour. It was about this much. So I got it for cheaper. My next favorite was the Legend of the Red Ghost Red Ale.
Oh, right. Lobster, non-lobster.
The non-lobster dinosaur skull.
Yes.
So the next one that I have was the Clementine Kolsch. This was great.
I should look for that because the hot weather is coming here.
Hey, guess what? I have more in my fridge. I can send you some.
No pressure, but open.
No, pressure, period.
Yeah, so this one I didn't talk about on the show, but this was the thing that I had late. This was Grow Right?
Ooh,
What a fucking label.
It's
that
so
looks
beautiful.
pretty.
Yeah. So
What
this
is that and what was
This
that?
is called a dark bloom. This is a American stout brewed with Ethiopian coffee and cinnamon, 8%.
Ooh, that was good? Was it good?
That was delicious.
That sounds great and is very pretty.
Yes, it was awesome. I'm super thrilled with how all those. Short was my nickname in college. Sure it was. Rock Lobster. Yes. Anyway, so next week I'd like to let everybody know we are off. With July 4th weekend, we are not going to be having a stream. We will be rerunning something. Not exactly sure what we're rerunning yet. So yeah, we'll sort that out.
TBD. It's a surprise. Join if you'd like.
For sure. So also I want to talk a bit about this is the Chase of Chaos Summit. So everybody come and join that thing. It's December. Tickets
It's
come on
coming
sale.
in September.
September, the tickets come on sale.
It is in September 20th and 21st. The tickets are going to be on sale in early mid-July, which is upon us soon. If you are in our community on the Facebook group, which you can find via the website, or if you join the newsletter, also via the website, you will get to access tickets a little bit earlier than everyone else, which is coming soon. So join if you like. Also, it's just fun. Also, the Facebook group is for funsies and free and whatever if you still have Facebook. But Maddie's a speaker now. Chat and connect with people. Ariana is speaking. We've got a lot of other great speakers. It's gonna be fun. Check out the website. Ask me or Ariana if you have questions. Thanks for joining us for that part.
Absolutely. You can see the link down there at the bottom, chaseofchaos.org. So please check that out. There's also a Facebook group, so join that and you keep up to date. So this is great. Maddie and Lauren, seriously, thank you for joining us and chatting and bullshitting with us because we always do.
So fun. Sun has set.
I said, just a reminder, we'll have a rerun next week, and then the week after that, we will be back. So everybody, take care. Love you guys.
Farewell.
Bye.
Cheers. Maybe. Hold on.
Maybe. This is a practice run.
Put that on that beat. Nope.